afternoon. Happy February 1st. Happy Black month. Happy Black History Month. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and I am your host on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 1 to 4 p.m. Listen, it's Black History Month. I'm going to need you all for these next 28 days to not work my nerves. For the next 28 days, we're going to talk about the excellence that is Black people on the levels that we have never spoken before. I'm not talking about Martin Luther King. I'm not talking about Coretta Scott King. I'm not even talking about Malcolm X for this month. I am talking about local folks here in Philadelphia, national folks who have created things in the 1800s and the 1900s, early 1900s that many of us may never know about. And since I know in this audience we have more than just Black folks listening, I'm about to school and educate some folks and remind others, right? Happy Black History Month to all of you. This first hour is to my WURD listeners, because you know I love all of you. And before I go any further to talk about my first Black History Month highlight, I want to say this. In this last week, with all the craziness that's been going around in this city, I have come to realize that Prince, George, Tyrone, Miss Mary, Woody, all of them have what they're saying. People keep dismissing them, but don't you know I have verified just about everything every one of them have said on this air over and over and over again. You know why people keep trying to dismiss them? Because there's a kernel of truth. There's more than a kernel of truth to the things that they're saying. I have never been so disappointed in doing my digging in this city as I have been in this last weekend. I was so annoyed on Friday coming home from a funeral. My son's best friend's mother died from coronavirus, right? Totally avoidable. Yesterday, another family member died from complications of COVID. And I've never been so disappointed. I literally got on the phone and called the mayor's office and left a message. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I have never in my 50-plenty years called anybody's office and left a message, especially not a politician. But I had a question for the mayor. Where are you, sir? Who is going to be held responsible for all of this? So I'm going to come back to that. And I literally on my message says, I'm not letting this go. I am not letting this go. The people of this city, the people of Philadelphia deserve so much better. So I'll come back to talk about the fiascos. But today, right now, I'm really focusing on what's happening with our folks here and the good things that are being done. So the first one I'm going to read to you. Let me just drop this and make sure that I'm getting it right. Hold on, because I'm so proud. This person, the first person that I'm highlighting today, and I'm literally getting tears in my eyes before I even talk about her, is someone who has saved countless lives and have done it very quietly. Dr. Archima Major is the principal of Eye Innovations LLC of Drexel Hills, PA, a premier eye care center that provides comprehensive vision and optical services to people of all ages. In this capacity, Dr. Major examines, diagnoses, manages, and treats diseases and disorders of the visual system, including the eye and associated structures. She also concentrates on preventative eye care and the management of systemic health disorders. Her mission is to promote a lifetime of healthy vision through prevention, early detection of disorders, and education of the visual system by providing unparalleled vision care that enhances her patients' quality of life. I'm reading and I'm tearing up. I'm telling you, I cannot tell you how many lives Dr. Major has saved since I met her in 2019, the summer of 2019. Dr. Major's quest and commitment for continuing education puts her at the forefront and cutting edge of the profession. Dr. Major holds a bachelor's degree with distinction in chemistry from Temple University Honors Program. She earned a second bachelor's degree in visual science and a doctorate degree from the Pennsylvania College of Optometry. After completing an external training at the Baltimore Veterans Administration Hospital in conjunction with the Wilmer Eye Institute at Johns Hopkins University, she subsequently undertook her residency in family practice with subspecialties in ocular disease, pediatric and developmental vision at Northeastern State University and the W.W. Hastings Indian Medical Center in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. She holds a myriad of certifications in laser and specialty contact lens services as well. On this accelerated track, Dr. Major completed her fellowship in primary care and clinical sciences at the American Academy of Optometry in 2005. Dr. Major holds an international distinction as the youngest person across the globe and in the history of the World of Council of Optometry to obtain a fellowship with this prestigious organization. She is also the first Black female to be appointed to the admittance committee of the American Academy of Optometry in the Northeast region since the inception of the organization in 1922. Dr. Major is presently the ophthalmological team lead of the Liberia Medical Mission, a self-funded nonprofit organization that has worked to provide desperately needed ophthalmological, medical, and mental health care to the people of Liberia, West Africa. That was a tongue twister. For which she has received an International Lifetime Achievement Award and congressional recognition. To date, this mission has provided free direct medical and surgical care to over 20,000 Liberians. They have provided live and virtual medical educational trainings, donations via medications, medical equipment and supplies, book clothing, and more in excess of $10 million during 15-day mission trips. Dr. Major has a passion for health, wellness, and community support. She is very aware and involved with the pulse of her local community. With this zeal, she currently serves as a trustee at the Richard Allen Preparatory Charter School, has participated and hosted several community events, including homeless feedings, health screenings, and back-to-school drives and community eye care donor programs. Dr. Major has published several articles in various journals and received a host of awards for her service to her local community and countries abroad. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. She's just amazing. And I highlighted Dr. Major first because she is the reason, honest to goodness, I went to see Dr. Renelle Dupree, who was the first one that told me that I was diabetic. But when I went to see Dr. Major, she looked in my eyes and she said, you don't have to take all that medication all the time. I'm going to tell you what to do just from looking in your eyes and telling you what you need. She told me all the green things I need you to see because we can heal ourselves from just the food that we eat and to not continue to ply ourselves with all this medication. She's holistic in the way she reaches people. And I cannot tell you, from the very first time I spoke about her and with her between 2019 and 2020, I have had more people calling me in tears. I've heard from police commissioners, I've heard from all sorts of folks who were just like, listen, I took my mother, I took myself, I took my husband. This woman is amazing, and she's humble. So while others were, seeking the public highlight and the affirmation, she never did. In fact, when I reached out to Dr. Major and says, I have got to talk about you. People need to know you exist. It was like pulling teeth to get her to even to talk about herself. I went back to the office one day and spent a day there talking to patients who said they were blind, physically blind. Dr. Major helped them to see again with this surgery that she does and walking with them through their process. And so for me, today I am incredibly proud to say that this Black sister is Black History 101. I want you all to go on her page if you know her on Facebook, say hello to her, get to know her, because she not only loves her patients, she loves her people. She don't care, and patients from all walks of life goes to see her. She's just that good. Right? And in a time when we're often complaining about doctors who aren't doing what they're supposed to do, Dr. Major is she's the fine. She's the fine. Just I can't even say it any other way. And so I, while I'm waiting for the WURD listeners to call in, I'm going to give you all a couple more because, you all need to know. That was Dr. Major. She's local here. Her eye practice is in Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania, and we've had many conversations. I even did a full cover story on her in the last several months. The woman is good. She's good. So every day that I am on the air, we're going to be covering someone local here in Philadelphia, local to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey. I actually reached out to a police chief in Georgia, of all places, that I want to highlight. It's a white man, but wait until you hear the things that he's done. And I emailed him at 2 o'clock this morning. By 8 o'clock, he responded. I'm like, yeah, you need to be on my Black History. Yes, sir, because you've done some things and you've been doing it for several years, and I'd like to talk about you and what you're doing there. I am going to also highlight, well, here we go. Reverend Joe, how are you, sir?
Well, good afternoon, young lady. How are you?
Listen, it's Black History Month. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Well,
What's up,
that's
sir?
exactly why I'm calling, because I know we're going to get corrective history from you. It's hard to realize that a lot of what we were taught and told just wasn't true. So this is what this month should be about, corrective Black history.
Yes, sir.
And the movies, arts, sports. I know I'm a former Marine, and a lot of people don't know this. The raising of the flag, you've probably seen that somewhere. That picture was taken twice. The first picture had Black Marines in it, so they took the picture again, took the Black Marines out. So it's things like that we should know. Even in music, you know, a lot of the Black entertainers wrote songs, but didn't get a dime for them, and they gave it to white performers. So I think at this month, anything people know that should be told, pass it on. And
I am. Because you see, Reverend Joe, they're not giving it in the history book, so I'm giving them all the blackety-black history facts. They can go ahead and I just, I'm sick of educators and even with family members. There's so many books now, historical books that they can go and read from Black bookstores, from people who know their history. The best stories you could ever hear are from the people who grew up in that time, who lived it, right? And can transcribe that history. That's what I'm talking about, Reverend.
Amen. You know, in the books in Florida, a couple of years back, they took up the word slaves and put in workers.
As if.
So keep doing what you're doing and keep the faith. Your faith will keep you. And remember, when you can't, God can, and when you won't, God will.
That's right. Thank you so much, Reverend Joe. I appreciate you. All right. Bye-bye. All right, so call up the history teachers, the ones that won't teach anything in history school, because Mother's about to drop you with some Black history facts. Tomorrow I have my Black history highlight. On Thursday I have my Black history highlight because I'm not playing with y'all. Gloria Twine Chisholm is another pioneering Black inventor who is still living. Gloria Twine was born in 1930 in Oklahoma. She attended Howard University in Washington, D.C. and studied psychology. She then went on to graduate school at the University of Pennsylvania. She held such impressive titles as manager of the U.S. Navy's Life Sciences Research Group and head of the Vision Laboratory at the U.S. Naval Air Development Center. In the 1970s, she worked to develop goggles for high-performance airplane pilots, Black Magic. The goggles help to decrease their exposure to bright lights and protect pilots' eyes in extreme conditions like sharp turns and lightning storms. In 2018, Drexel University awarded her Woman One Award and Scholarship Fund. The diverse history of historically Black colleges and universities. I'm telling you now, hold on to yourselves. While Jewish and African American communities have had tumultuous shared history, when it comes to the pursuit of civil rights, there is a chapter that is often overlooked. In the 1930s, when Jewish academics from Germany and Austria were dismissed from their teaching positions, many came to the United States looking for jobs. Due to the Depression, xenophobia, and rising anti-Semitism, many found it difficult to find work, but more than 50 found positions at HBCUs in the segregated South. Originally established to educate freed slaves to read and write, the first of the historically Black colleges and university was Cheyney University in Pennsylvania, established in 1837. By the time the Jewish professors arrived, the number of HBCUs had grown to 78. At a time when both Jews and African Americans were persecuted, Jewish professors in the Black colleges found the environment comfortable and accepting, often creating special programs to provide opportunities to engage Black and whites in meaningful conversations, often for the first time. In the years that followed, the interests of Jewish and African American communities increasingly diverged, but this one shared experience of discrimination and interracial cooperation remains a key part of the civil rights movement. Whew, yes, Lord, I'm going to read one more and then I'm going to take this call. Inoculation to the United States was introduced to America by a slave. Pay attention now. Few details are known about the birth of Onesimus, but it is assumed he was born in Africa in the late 17th century before eventually landing in Boston. One of 1,000 people of African descent living in the Massachusetts colony, Onesimus was a gift to the Puritan church minister Cotton Mather from his congregation in 1706. Lord, we were making people gifts. Onesimus told Mather about the centuries-old tradition of inoculation practiced in Africa. By extracting the material from an infected person and scratching it into the skin of an uninfected person, you could deliberately introduce smallpox to the healthy individual, making them immune. considered extremely dangerous at the time, Cotton Mather convinced Dr. Zabdiel Boylston to experiment with the procedure when a smallpox epidemic hit Boston in 1721 and over 240 people were inoculated. Opposed politically, religiously, and medically in the United States and abroad, public reaction to the experiment put Mather and Boylston's life in danger, despite records indicating that only 2% of the patients requesting inoculation died compared to the 15% of people not inoculated who contracted smallpox. Once a most traditional African practice was used to inoculate American soldiers during the Revolutionary War and introduced the concept of inoculation to the United States. A slave introduced the concept of inoculation. Man, let me just try to tell you, we are out here doing the darn thing. Keep on going. Paul E. Williams, born in Alabama in 1939, Paul E. Williams helped pioneer the modern-day helicopter in the mid-20th century. There were already existing versions of the helicopter. Manned helicopter flights had been being attempted with varying degrees of success since 1907, but Williams' copter has been called the first useful helicopter. Williams patented this copter, Lockheed Model 186, in 1962, building off of existing and new technology. The model was experimental and had 3 units built. Look at that. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Hello, my name is Andrea Delzell, and I've been using a wheelchair since I was 5 years old. If I had one message for the general public, it would be relax. Some folks get really flustered around disabled people, so they just pretend we're not there. I've actually had waiters talk to my companion and completely ignore me. People with disabilities just want the same respect and consideration as everyone else.
This is a message from United Spinal Association. Download our disability etiquette booklet at unitedspinal.org.
WURD Radio celebrates Black History Month with Black Artist Story 365, brought to you by the Pennsylvania Lottery.
Welcome to Black Artist Story 365. My name is Envy McKee. Get into this episode where we explore the art and artistry of revolutionary poet Nikki Giovanni. Yolanda Cornelia Nikki Giovanni Jr. was born in Knoxville, Tennessee to Yolanda Cornelia Sr. and Jones Gus Giovanni. In 1960, young Queen Nikki began her studies at her grandfather's alma mater, Fisk University, in Nashville, as an early entrant. In 1967, she graduated with honors with a BA in history. In 1968, Giovanni attended a semester at the University of Pennsylvania and then moved to New York City. She was an active member of the Black arts movement beginning in the late 1960s. 1971's Ego Trippin' is one of Queen star Auntie Nikki's most famous pieces.
I walked to the Fertile Crescent and built the Sphinx. I designed a pyramid so tough that a star that only glows every 100 years falls into the center, giving divine, perfect light. I am bad.
1978's Cotton Candy on a Rainy Day is one of her other more noteworthy collections of poems. She and the late James Baldwin wrote a book together, did you know that? Titled A Dialogue. The two authors speak blatantly about the status of the black male in the household. She published Those Who Ride the Night Winds in 1983, in 1988, volume Sacred Cows and Other Edibles, Acolytes, and On My Journey Now. There's also 2009's Bicycles Love Poems, Chasing Utopia, a hybrid from 2013, and that's literally just to name a few. So that's it for this episode of Black Artist Story 365. My name is Envy McKee. To hear more, tune in to The Envy McKee Show, Friday nights, 7 to 10 p.m., right here on WURD.
Black Artist Story 365 is brought to you by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Get to winning with Win-Win, the new scratch-off from the Pennsylvania Lottery, with top prizes of $500 grand. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
Jefferson Health offers no-cost COVID-19 testing sites at St. Raymond of Pinafort Church. Testing is on Thursdays and Saturdays. A second testing location has been added at Richard Allen Preparatory Charter School. Testing is on Wednesdays and Fridays. For testing hours and more information, visit jeffersonhealth.org/community testing.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, I am doing our Black History Facts all month long. I highlighted Dr. Archima Major, who is on, someone just posted on Facebook asking for their address. Just look up I Innovations LLC, EYE Innovations LLC, please. Google that, and you'll find her information there. And I've been doing a little bit more Black History Facts. I'm going to do one more, and then I'm moving on because I have to talk about what has been going on in the city of Philadelphia, so much so that I've begun writing a whole article about it that will be published this week because I just can't deal. Does the image of a blue receptacle sitting on a street corner with a flap to open at the top ring any bells? That's right. Philip B. Downing, a black man born in Providence, Rhode Island in 1857, filed the patents that led to the modern-day mailbox. Specifically, he filed two separate patents for a street letterbox, both of which were approved in 1891. His invention allowed people to more easily send mail, reducing the need for a trip to the post office every time. It likewise made jobs easier for mail carriers, and he truly thought of everything. The hinge doors that we still see today kept the mail from getting damaged in the rain or snow. Downing also received patents for a train operating switch and an envelope moistener. That was Philip B. Downing, who patented what we now know as our mailbox in 1891. Black folks are smart, you know, and oftentimes people take our stuff, which is why I tell you all the time, when you come up with an idea, work to find the money to patent your stuff, or, you know, so that people can take your creative rights. It can be expensive, but it is absolutely worth it to get it done in the long run. All right, Maurice, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Mama, no hanging up today. You hang up on me.
Right. So
let me break something down for you real quick. You know, my family line is from Black Wall Street. My great uncle is in the books is John Merrick. Mm-hmm. Okay, he started North Carolina Mutual Insurance Company in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. He was a millionaire in 1919. He had a mansion. Wow. He started off as a boot black. He went to Harvard. Mm-hmm. So I'm just letting people know that if black people actually knew our history about all the things that we invented that we're using nowadays, and can't believe that we invented it. See, they make us think that we haven't invented anything. We don't know nothing. But the world wouldn't go round unless it was for black people, and we got to let people understand that. So I just wanted to get that out there. That's why I'm so dogged about what I'm talking about. I got 3 guests that you need to have on.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, number 1, you need to have Sheriff Bilal on. Mm-hmm. She used to be
I know who she is.
On the
I know who she is.
I'm just saying, the powerful people, if you want answers from the street, they give it to you straight. Number 2, you need to have Curtis Jones, that's on city council. He's the safety officer for the city. All this crime and everything that's going on comes under his division. He's also in charge of the cameras, the multi-million-dollar camera system we have in the city that nobody ever talks about. Okay? You got that down, right? And here's the big one. You need to have McNesby on. the police union chief.
Why are you all insisting that I need to talk to McNesby?
Because he makes the world go round. Let's not play no games, okay? He controls the police force. Somebody got to talk to him. You don't have to like nobody to get along.
Let me ask you. This is not about like or dislike, because you know we have to report the news. So this is not about like or dislike.
That's why I say it doesn't matter.
I don't know if Brianna reached out to McNesby yet. What I'd love for him and I need to have a good conversation, because I've been in this thing for a long time, and you know, I have some questions I need to have answered, because I'm looking at what's going on in the city right now, right? And Rebecca Reinhardt, who is our city controller, put out a report regarding what happened during the riots and the upheavals and the unrest that was going on in the city in the middle of a pandemic in 2020. I know, because I was out there and just barely missed being tear gassed myself, right? My gut instinct says, get out of here. I got out, and an hour later, I saw Cherry Gregg being just all the stuff that was going on. I wrote her and said, get some milk right away to clear out your eyes. But we saw firsthand the things that were going on in this city. And
right, but listen. I lived it. I've been in this city all my life. I lived through the Rizzo age. I got a little bit up more on all these youngsters that think they know what racism is. They have no idea what racism is. When you
so you tell me, let me ask you this, Maurice. Let me ask you this, though. What is McNesby going to say to me that would make life better for the citizens of this city?
Well, first of all, you just talk to each other on a human level. Forget about, we already know he's a racist, so let's just leave it at that. There's no need to trying to change the man. We just want to get along. We just want to make this thing work. He wants his officers not to be hurt. We want citizens not to be hurt. You start at that level and maybe you can get somewhere. I worked in one of the racist systems in the state. I worked for the prison system, and when I started there, they were walking around with white sheets on in the prison. So I'm letting you know right now. And that was only in the 90s, so we haven't come very far. But after we've been there for a while and they start recruiting more black officers, you start to see things change. We got to join the police force. We can't get this thing, I don't want to be a cop. The only way you can change the police force is from inside. We can't be on the outside screaming. We got to be members of the police force to change the police force.
Okay.
That's the only way it's going to work.
How many people do you have in your family that's a member of the police force? I'm just asking.
I was a prison guard, but I have a large family now. I have some of the most racist guards you ever met come to my aid because I was real with them. I said, I don't like you guys either. Once we hit that door at the end of the job, I'm going my way, you go your way. I don't want to see you on my block either. See, I let them know like that. I talk just like them so they know how it feel like. I don't want you white ends coming down my way either. See, I talk to them like that, and they respect that because now I'm talking their language. You know, but
so here's the thing. I strongly suspect that if I invited McNesby to my show, he will come on and talk to me. This is the gut feeling I have. Hold on, wait a minute, because I've spent so much time working with police officers, and I understand McNesby at a base level. But here's the deal. This goes beyond McNesby. Right? What we see and happen in this city is like a cookie crumbling, literally, right? We've got issues going on over in education where they've got fans up that are built on a board, a ply board, according that is our air circulation system. I've had conversations with people in the city, in the school district who said this is ridiculous and they don't know what to do. People are passing the buck over and around. Everything goes up to the head. I've said this time and again. Everybody's looking at Dr. Haidt. Everybody's looking at Commissioner Outlaw. Everybody's looking at the mayor, although I would love to see the mayor show up and do at least a press conference that makes sense to us because everything around him is just falling down, right? But if we look into the inner workings of these places, there are folks who are in high positions just beneath the people at the very top that are causing havoc, right? And so my question then becomes, how do we hold those people accountable?
I disagree with you totally. I disagree. I'm going to tell you why I disagree with you.
Okay, but what I'm saying to you, though, Maurice.
Let me tell you why I'm disagreeing with you.
All right, Maurice, go ahead.
It starts from the top. And we got all these black officials. Black in this city is whack. Okay. We got all these black officials, and they're not doing anything for us. Did you listen to the last city?
Maurice, I am not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you.
I am. It's not the middle people. It's the people at the top.
You hear what I said, Maurice?
People don't have any power.
Maurice, listen to me. I didn't say it was the middle people. I said it was the people just below the people at the top in the top cabinets. Those positions. That's what I said, Maurice. Right?
But if the top cabinet is not doing anything, it doesn't matter what the middle people or the people right below them. We got 17 disciples sitting up there that has done nothing for the black community. Absolutely nothing. Nobody can name. I asked all the hosts, what has they done in the last 5 years, the black city council workers, done for you in your neighborhood? And they can't say a thing. They come up with some nonsense Juneteenth. Well, they took that away. They gave it to you to stop the riots, and then as soon as they felt comfortable, they took it back. They gave us a statue. That is it. We used to have Unity Day, a day that we could go down Center City for black people where we could celebrate our blackness, and they took that away from us, and nobody said a damn thing. Now, you know, the next thing they're going to take a Dunday is next. People don't 3 more years, and that's gone because that property done got too expensive to have a bunch of blacks in that white neighborhood now. I'm just telling you. No, people don't want to see what's in front of them. That's why I always got an attitude. We had a chance to change the mayor. Nobody wanted to find somebody to run for mayor, and they keep letting this clown, Anthony Williams, keep pretending he's for the people. He's another jerk. We don't need people like that. That's why I get so upset. We get it when these people come on. We don't ask them no serious questions. We let them slide by, and then here's the worst part: they bring the clergy up with them to solidify what they're doing to make us say, "Oh, he must be a good dude." No, the clergy is dirty too.
So what would you do, Maurice? What solution do you have? Because I always ask you all, and let me say this to you. Listen to me, Maurice. I want you to listen to me because I think you are and justifiably so. Because I spent the entire weekend fussing. I was so upset. I called the mayor's office and left a message. That's how upset I was this weekend. I don't think I've ever done anything like that in my life because I see what you see. But like Shamika writes, she said, grassroots organizations start from the bottom and have been responsible for great change. And that's what we can't keep waiting for these people at the top. We need the grassroots folks to go in and start shifting things around and not the same old dry bones that are dressed up in their suits and their cute shoes and thinking that we're understanding what they're saying. There are too many people who are complicit in this city. Too many. I can't even count on 2 hands 10 good people that I know in this city that I know is not compromised. Do you know how crazy that is?
Listen. We need we say these white folks is crazy, but they're not that crazy because we need an insurrection down there at City Hall. That's what we really need. And let me tell you one thing about what's really going on here. If we don't put our own money together and elect our candidates instead of letting them decide who on city council is going to be the next mayor, the same old system, the same old people, that's the problem. We got to look to the outside. We cannot bring these people that's already in. Did you watch city council?
I did. I watched that.
Now, tell me. I know I'm running a little long here, but how do you think Cheryl Parker's performance was?
I can't. I refuse to speak on her performance.
Right. Well, you said
let me start. Wait. Hold on. Wait, Maurice. You keep asking me these questions and you keep talking over me. Let me get a word in edgewise. Before I got on the air on Thursday, I watched the meeting from November 19th. That was who are the people in this committee, the health committee? Bobby Heenan, Helen Gim, and Cindy Bass. Right? Were the 3 people who sat in that conversation, and I'm watching them as this 22-year-old came and he gave his whole spiel about what he can do, well laid out, because clearly he had some help from Drexel University, because you see the chickens are still, we're still trying to figure out who did what, right? When the city council meeting was airing, people started calling me, and I watched some of it on the news, right? And I saw Councilwoman Parker. Here's the problem that I'm having with city council at large. When these kinds of things, it's the only 3 of them were in this particular meeting. They should have come back with a report and said, this is what we learned before everybody decided they were going to vote on whatever they voted on. Part of it is folks are not reading. They're taking what folks are telling to them, or they'll get a phone call. I want you to back this for me because it is important to me, or whatever the hell they do. That's why I don't like politics. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, people need to be held responsible. I saw that the assistant commissioner, deputy commissioner, she resigned, and I'm like, you're a scapegoat, sis. And why do we always put women as the scapegoat to cover the things that we do, right? This goes higher than that deputy commissioner. She sent an email that went to the 22-year-old Philly fighting COVID, and it also went to the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium. And yes, she probably should have sent the email, but are you telling me that email with what she sent, the young man with no accreditation got way more vaccines? I got that list too, of all the people who got vaccines, which is just incrazy. Maurice, are you still there?
Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah, well, hold on, Maurice, because I want to share something with you. So I'm telling you, this thing goes deep and wide, and nobody wants to take responsibility for it. And I just don't think that it's enough, right? So here, this 22-year-old didn't have. Let me close my computer up here. He got 6,900, because this was sent to me. I tell you, thank you to the people who are sending me all the information that I need, because I fully appreciate what you're giving to me here, because I need to see some of this stuff, right? Let's see, Maurice. They gave, let me just make sure. The Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium, 2,500 vaccines. They gave Philly Fighting COVID 6,950 vaccines. Huh? Right? Then we started seeing in the news that Brendan Boyle's family got tested and Bobby Heenan's family got door-to-door service, right? And it just makes no sense. So who should be held responsible for this, Maurice? Who? It has to go up higher than the deputy commissioner.
Well, let me tell you. We all know, anybody got any kind of common sense know that lady was the fall guy. They made her fall on the sword and made her take the blame because Fauci, that guy, what's the health
Farley.
name?
Tom Farley.
He needs to be fired. City council needs to resign. Everybody who was at that meeting to resign. And here's the work. And here's the main thing. I want to close with this because I've been on too long. Today or last night, we hit 50 murders in a 30-day month, or 31-day month.
Are we at 50 murders already?
We're at 50 already. 50, almost 200 shootings. We're in crisis, and everybody needs to pretend it's not happening. They pretend that it is not happening. If these were white folks getting shot, especially children and women, the city would be on lockdown. But because we have a black city council, they don't care. And I'll leave it at that.
Love you, man. Love you. Talk to you soon, okay?
Hang up on me, please.
Big up, man. Big up one time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hang up, Michael. You are listening to The Source. I'm coming back to talk about this because the Tower Health System, hospitals were getting less vaccines. University of Pennsylvania Health System got 30,000 vaccines. Rite Aid got 16,000, right? But like Wills Eye Hospital only got 700 vaccines. Who are giving out these things? Just a lot. And when you look at the variation in what they were giving out and who they were giving them to, I still don't understand how a doctor's group that had everything in place got 1/3 of what the other group got that didn't have any accreditation. So who's covering for whom here? Something just isn't right. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Hey, WURD family. Our friends at Amoroso's Baking Company are hiring right now. Amoroso's has been baking the delicious bread in our community for over 100 years, and they want you to join their team today. The old and the young love Amoroso's, and they are hiring right now. Check it out. They offer fair pay and provide health, dental, and prescription plans after 90 days employment. Call 856-754-0355 or visit amorososbaking.com for details.
Did you know you can catch the flu and COVID-19 at the same time or even back to back? Don't risk catching the flu during the COVID-19 pandemic. The flu shot is a safe and effective way of reducing your chances of catching the flu or spreading it to others. And the flu shot helps protect you and your community from the worst effects of the flu. Don't say, I should have got my flu shot. Call your doctor or visit your pharmacist and get your flu shot today.
Coping-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
If you're feeling increasingly lonely right now, you're not alone. It's totally normal. Even though we may not be able to get together in person, connecting virtually with friends and family still gives you a chance to interact with people and may help raise your spirits. Join a virtual book club, set up group text chats, or online video coffee breaks with coworkers.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Let me take Muhammad. Muhammad, are you there?
Yes, I am.
How are you, sir? Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm all right, but I'm listening. I'm going to make this short and sweet.
Yes.
Mr. McNesby and the mayor are at fault, not the police commission.
Mm-hmm.
They're at fault because, let me tell you something. I used to be in a gang years ago, back in the 70s and 80s, and make it short and sweet. And we had respect for women and children, and Rizzo used to beat us up and all that. But listen, it's time that we, if nobody's going to help us but us. And we can't make people help us. I haven't heard nothing from the mayor.
Yes. I know. I know, Mohammed, and that's what I called the mayor's office for. I'm like, where is the mayor? Where is the mayor? I get it that there's a lot.
It's not the police commissioner.
Uh-huh.
It's the mayor and then McNesby to protect the police. And I don't want to provoke violence, but when I grew up,
please don't promote violence. Not on Marvel's show.
Not gonna, but look, when I grew up, we had respect for older people and women and children. And we used to fight, knack a fool. We used to fight and beat people up. But we're not going to let nobody kick over.
Well,
I'm going to call you again. I like talking with you.
You're quite welcome. Thank you so much, Mr. Muhammad. You have a good one, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Something is missing here for me in this city. I've spent the last 5 years just paying attention to the players, even to the people who think they have me by the wind, by the neck, by the bag, you know, because they're so sweet and so kind, and they pretend to like they don't know what's going on. You see, everybody talks, people talk, and they start connecting the dots. And when you start connecting the dots, you start to see how many people are complicit with other folks. In this city, there really, truly no one here that will speak up on behalf of the citizenry in a way that makes sense. And the ones that speak up are told they're crazy. Michael, I don't know what live read you're talking about because I don't have it on me, so send it to me, please. The people that speak up are told that they're crazy, that they don't know what they're talking about. They're just doing sour grapes. But we have just far too many folks in this city that are one hand washing this one over here, washing that foot over here, and nothing is getting done that makes sense on behalf of our folks. So what are we going to do? Again, I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to keep saying it. I have had a couple of good conversations with the mayor of this city, and I've told him, I said, I get it. This is not an easy job to have. I understand that it's not a most pleasant job to have. And I also said to him that when you stop being mayor, please go teach. And if he's listening to this, he will nod his head and say, I told him this. Please go teach. But sir, right now, I am looking at a city that is falling down. I want to see your face. I want you to be able to come in front of our people and say, this is what's going on. I see the letter that you've written. I get it. I see the letter that you've written. We still need to hear from you. The police chief showed up at the dais and, you know, am I qualified, and then some, and then some, and then some. And I'm looking at this news conference, and I'm saying to myself, well, where's the mayor? Where's the mayor standing behind him? You sent him a letter on behalf of Dr. Farley, who I absolutely believe should be held accountable for the stuff that is going on in the health department right now. If you're going to throw a buck, the buck has got to stop with the people at the top. If you all want the commissioner of police to resign or to be thrown out, then the same thing has to happen for the health commissioner. You all cannot continue to throw these people under the bus and not back them up, right? And so I am literally reaching out, and if someone is listening from McNesby's group, let him know that I want to talk to him. They can email me at A as in Andrea, L as in lollipop, Sanders, SANDERS @WURDradio.com. I am willing to sit and have this conversation because I want to know what is going on in this city. Have we gotten to the place where we don't realize that the city is crumbling and we look crazy to the rest of the world? The police department's not working properly. The education system is out of control. I'm interviewing folks who are saying they can't get what they need, and I'm talking to people in the school district of Philadelphia who are saying that they're trying to do their very best, and they have people who are not doing their jobs, right? And so everything gets thrown onto the superintendent, but his people in his top level cabinet, some of them need to be weeded out and to lose their six-figure income. So much of that money. It is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And then the vaccine fiasco that's going on. And we've had over 50 people dead, and it's just February 1st. And it's us. We're the ones left at the bottom of the totem pole. We're the ones, the black and brown folks, we're the ones that get in the sickest. We're the ones dying. We're the ones not getting the vaccines, right? We're the ones. We're not getting door-to-door service, people coming to our house and giving us vaccines because we know the people who got the grant to give vaccines. And how many more times can pull up and make us distrust you. We so distrust the medical system as it is, and I have said this to Dr. Farley myself. We so distrust the medical system. Do you think now people are really going to sit there and trust you? If you don't bring Dr. Ayla Stanford and the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium in the middle of this, you all are going to suck salt as it applies to black people, because we don't trust just anybody, right? And I don't know what happened back there. I'm still flushing out the details about that. Some folks say they didn't have their nonprofit status, but that makes crazy sense to me, because she was sitting up there. If she needed to have that, why didn't someone say that to her when she was sitting there in the committee, right? Just lots of crazy things going on. What are we doing for the health and welfare of the children who are in the Philadelphia school system right now, and they're talking about going back to school on February 8th? Huh? The air system that they have, the fans with the oh God. I have never seen such blatant disregard for human lives in all my life. In all my life, I've never seen such blatant disregard for human life. This city is made up of a majority of brown and black people, and yet they're on the bottom of the totem pole. They don't get the city contracts. They have to go through so much to get a city contract. And yet here we are. And the ones that are getting the city contracts, instead of going about it and doing it the proper way, they're cutting deals around back corners. Some are ending up in prison. Some are just like, come on, people, come on. What are we doing here? Right? If we want to be excellent, then be excellent, right? Follow the protocols. And if you know things are not working, then you start to ask the questions. It just makes no sense. Makes no sense. And so while I'm having conversations at the local level, I'm having conversations at the national level, right? I'm making phone calls. I'm talking to folks from the CDC because I need to know the answers. I'm not sitting here going and wringing my hands going, oh my God, they did it to us again. No, sir, not doing that, right? You know, the Office of Inspector General, I'm looking at, the stuff that, oh my God. I just this morning asked what happened to Cassandra Franklin and her case, where the first prosecutor in the district attorney's office was abusing his power, according to the allegations that were written in the Philadelphia Inquirer by Janine Armstrong. I want to know what's happening with that case. Is that woman still being charged after police were used to stake out her house because this man was upset because she cut him off? The abuse of power, privilege, unearned privilege and titles, and the way black and brown people have been treated in this city. Who is going to step up and be the kind of leader, black, white, or indifferent, to make sure that our people get what they need? Who is going to stop shucking and jiving? Don't come on television and start screaming and ranting and raving when the cookie hit the fan, because nobody did their due diligence. Why do we hide in our corners when people are asking you to show up and answer some hard questions about these cities? You want people to vote for you? We have an election coming up in a few months in May. You want people to vote for you? Then step up and be the kind of leader. It takes courage. It takes courage. If you don't have the courage to step up and say, you know what, I may want to do this for you, but this doesn't serve the people of this city, and I can't do it for you. It takes courage to say, I'm not going to get into this foolishness with you in the back door because it's not helping the people. It takes courage. How many more of our city leaders are going to be held responsible by the federal authorities and locked up before we actually get our act together? How many more? That's all I want to know. I truly need to know that, because this is not making any sense to me at all. Why is this so... sorry y'all, I'm trying to get into this thing here because I'm looking at my list. I have coming up at 2 o'clock the gentleman that started Deloach, Mr. Deloach. I interviewed him the first time in the studios at WURD radio, and he's coming back on because here's someone who has seen an issue and did something about it and is creating tangible changes on behalf of the people that he's serving. I need more leaders like that to step up. I am interviewing Rebecca Reinhart tomorrow, right? And on and on and on. I'm not playing. I am just not playing. Let me take Dee quickly. Dee from Germantown, are you there?
Yes, hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I just have a question in reference to accountability, in reference to the COVID-19 vaccine distribution. Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering, the 22-year-old that took the vaccines home and gave it to his friends, mm-hmm. I'm just wondering, I haven't heard anything about him being held accountable for what he did.
You notice that?
It can only be him, and I'm sure that there's, and I know that the woman resigned, the deputy commissioner, but I'm sure there's much more, and I don't feel as though anyone's really being held accountable. I mean, they're like maybe resign and just come and talk about what you did wrong. but no one's being held accountable versus, like, if it was one of us, I believe, we would be either in jail, locked up, you know, not resigning, fired. You know, I just don't feel like anything's really being done. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Dee. I appreciate it. And Dee is absolutely right. Absolutely right. Who is being held accountable for it at a level where it makes some sense? Because what we're seeing right now makes absolutely no sense. It's not okay for you to tell me, oh, well, you know, we worked it out. And let me just hold on, Michael. I see it. Okay. All right. To just say, you know, such and such retired or resigned because. Open this up. Now, of course, Michael, it won't let me open it up. This is too funny. Michael, it won't let me open it up. I'm trying to open up something for WURD. It's telling me something about it. Oh, I'm telling you, I can't. This is too much. Michael, you're going to have to take a picture of it and send it to me, please, and I'll read it when I come back. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Need a new mattress? Stop by to see Julian, the Mattress Man, located at 7421 Stenton Avenue. You deal directly with the owner, Julian, to ensure the best prices on name brand mattresses like Sealy, Posturepedic. Call 215-424-5550. That's 215-424-5550.
This Black Artist Story 365 vignette is brought to you by JD's Auto Body and Painting.
Welcome to Black Artist Story 365. My name is Envy McKee. Get into this episode where we explore the art and artistry of iconic black sci-fi. First of all, black science fiction isn't some newfangled subgenre of sci-fi that came around when Marvel decided to finally put out Black Panther as a movie. Black sci-fi has been around since the beginning. And if we're honest, it started in the beginning when God said, "In the beginning was the Word." And it was good. But we'll contend with the beginning being West Africa, where the very first black sci-fi authors used the oral tradition for publishing. We'll also contend that the Word, in this case, was stories our ancestral griots told about creation, metaphysics, and culture. Stories of jumping universes that they shared as poetry and song and dance around bright hot fires, powered by the rhythmic thundering of the drum. So who are some of the greats in black sci-fi? Like in any genre, it depends on who you ask. I got 5 on it that Octavia Butler would likely top most folk top 5 in black spec fiction because of her 90s Parable series, which included Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents. Samuel R. Delany could be considered one of the OGs of the genre, and he taught at Temple University. Nalo Hopkinson is a renowned science fiction and fantasy writer, professor, and editor, lest we forget Tanana Reeve Dew's The Good House, Black Rose, and Joplin's Ghost, Karen Lord's The Best of All Possible Worlds, N.K. Jemisin, The 100,000 Kingdoms, Stephen Barnes, Lion's Blood, Minister Faust, Nnedi Okorafor, Andrea Hairston, Jeffrey Thorne, Nisi Shaw, and Carl Hancock Rux. And of course, Tommy Adeyemi, Children of Blood and Bone. So that's it for this episode of Black Artist Story 365. My name is Envy McKee. To hear more, tune into The Envy McKee Show, Friday nights, 7 to 10 p.m., right here on WURD.
This Black Artist Story 365 vignette was brought to you by JD's Auto Body and Painting. For all
You're
your
listening
auto body
to
and
The
detailing
Source
needs.
with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I need some, the hype. Mute yourselves, please. So, Michael, I can't have an interview like this because the noise is too high. There we go. So, Mr. Deloach, there's something going on your end that's making your noise, it's too high. We can't have a conversation because it's the noise level is too high. So unmute your mic again and let me hear you, please. Unmute yourself.
Muted.
Yes, it's on you. So something is really, is there noise in your background somewhere?
No, I guess maybe it's a technical issue.
Turn down your microphone a little bit for me. Let me just double check to make sure. All right, that's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. Hi, young lady. She's just kind of looking at me like, what is going on over here? Hi, unmute yourself so I can talk to you. Mute yourself for me, please, Mr. Deloach. Mute yourself for right now. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am good. So let me do a quick thing over here. Hold on. And do an introduction. Whatever that noise was, it just went. Just so you know, electricians are considered a high priority occupations. HPOs are job categories that are in demand by thousands of employers across the world, have evolved skill needs, and are likely to provide high quality family sustaining wages for decades to come. Some types of electricians require more education and training than others. Most field electrical positions do not require 4-year degrees or the educational debt that comes along with it. Electricians may also work in constantly changing environments. And so I want to introduce you to the gentleman, Harold Deloach and Shaya Yarbrough. She's a female student, 19 years old, the Academy of Industrial Arts, LLC, TAIA School. Good afternoon to the both of you. How are you?
I'm doing good.
You're doing good. So Shaya, that's how I pronounce your name, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I just watched the video of you on YouTube. Tell me how you got involved with that lovely gentleman, Mr. Deloach. Tell us all about that.
Okay, so my mom is a good friend with Mr. Harold. They went to I think they were in school together, or I don't know, they knew each other from like back in the day. And she kind of just threw out his school to me, put me on school, saying that she think that I should give it a try and see if I like it or not. Yeah, that's how I kind of got introduced to him, and I took his class in September. And I kind of just been hanging out with them ever since.
Yeah. What are you doing there? What are you learning?
So right now we run a lot of residential and commercial properties. Doing a lot of things like receptacles and MC cable and running. Yeah. Doing a lot of different projects. Like one project we did was did a couple skating rings, do some rewiring for them and stuff like that.
Okay. And so what's your favorite part of all of this?
I think my favorite is being in the field for the people and seeing that a lot of people have like different experience with trades, even though it might not be their like full-time work. They still like do that or have like interest in trade. I like meeting the different types of people and seeing the different locations and stuff.
Yeah, good. And the trades, do you think you'll want to become an electrician, Shaya?
I do. I could see myself being a licensed electrician.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Deloach, good afternoon. I'm hoping that your sound is a little bit better. Unmute yourself, please.
All right. Can you hear me?
Oh, gosh. Yes, that is much better. I thought I was going to go down. Now, the first time we met each other was in the studios, and Lord, that wasn't too much fun. And since then, you have gone on to get a van, a bus, you've commercials. So tell everybody about your school. First of all, the Academy of Industrial Arts, and why you got started for those who have never been introduced to you, and where you are today.
So I am the Director of Education for the Academy of Industrial Arts. Its acronym is the TAIA School. And it's a very, very unique electrician training program. So it's a private program, so I get to do it kind of in a way I like to do it, which is in a way that trains electricians more efficiently. So it's kind of a new business model. And typically, when someone enrolls into a trade school, like a formal brick and mortar program, they have to apply for student loans. They have to borrow anywhere from like $18,000 to $35,000. And typically, it's either a full-time program where they're in a classroom Monday through Thursday or Friday from 8 in the morning until about 4 in the afternoon. That could run anywhere from 6 to 12 months. If they enrolled in a typical part-time program in a large brick and mortar, it could take up to 18 months.
Wow.
And I've re-engineered the process to basically accelerate the learning process and the introduction for the potential student into the workforce. So I've cut a lot of fat and fluff out of the process. I give my students exactly what they need at the beginning of the process. And basically, I'm gearing them up to work for contractors that I help to get licensed that are waiting for them.
Yeah.
So they don't have to wait to, in a sense, graduate from a program to start working. They can start right away.
Right. And so, we've heard so many conversations about young people who are not ready to be apprenticed, to be apprenti in the system, right? And you have literally taken all the excuses away and given people the formula. So what do they need to do to become a student in your school? And how long are they in your school before they can get a job?
So all results aren't typical. So the results are typically based on the level of ambition of the student and the resources that they have available at their fingertips. So my students can begin to get real world exposure, job site readiness, hopefully by their second semester. But it's an open enrollment process. It's open to the general public. It's basic forms that you fill out to enroll, and it's kind of a screening process. And basically, Andrea, I am screening my students to make sure that they are a good fit for the contractors that I work with in my network. I get calls from private corporations and nonprofits that are looking for electricians to put on their staff. Recently, I got a call from Lowe's. They were looking to restaff one of their locations. So I basically try to make sure that the student is ready and serious to work, that they're engaged. It does help if they have mobility, driver's license, transportation. They can navigate their way around the city, and they're serious. I don't see why someone who doesn't enroll in the first semester and the second semester, I don't see why they can't transition into the workforce.
What's happening? Because I've had some serious conversations in the last week, especially in the Philadelphia School District. Are you partnering with them in any way with this apprenticeship program?
Yes, so I am contracted with Big Picture Philadelphia, who in contract with the Philadelphia School District. So I have an electrician mentorship program that I run, for the public school system Thursdays, and that's about an hour, hour and a half, and it's specifically for Vaux High School.
Okay, and for Vaux High School. Okay.
Yes, that program's going very well.
Okay. How long have you started that? How long have you been doing that program?
So I just completed a semester, which ran about 12 weeks. So we're about to start a second term. So it's going to be some returning students and some new students and the new cohort that they're putting together.
Okay. One more question here. Kim Cat said, I hear you speak of other schools as brick and mortar. Is not TAIA a brick and mortar facility? If it is not, can it be placed in a brick and mortar? You are a brick and mortar school, are you not?
Yes, I do have a classroom. I'm embedded inside of the Southwest CDC at 62nd and Pascal Street. I have a beautiful brand new classroom there, but I've transitioned all of my classes online because of the pandemic.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So right now, I am teaching my students on Zoom. The first semester students get lecture and theory for about the first 7 weeks. Then what you see in the videos are our hands-on performance tasks. So instead of us meeting in a classroom, we actually meet on working job sites. So it's been working out really well, and I've been documenting the whole process.
And you have. This young lady from Martin Luther King High School said that she's interested in having it at Martin Luther King High School. They have a big building, and so they'll work that process out. I can't do that over the air while y'all are doing it. But Shia, let me ask you this: when you're out on the street and you're seeing all of the stuff that's happening in the apprenticeship program, decided that it's something that you want to do, do you think it's a fair place for young women? Because can I share something with you? I've always wanted to work on cars. I always wanted to work on cars.
Okay.
I grew up in Jamaica, and my mother said, girls don't work on cars. Get up from off of these and stop playing with the cars. But I've always loved, so my father would teach me everything that I can change the fuel injector in a car. I can change the oil. I can change the tire. I can change the spark plugs. I can, all of that, right? Made my mother nuts. And I think that if I had been encouraged like you're being encouraged, I may have done something. It probably wouldn't have been my lifelong thing, but to learn how to do certain things. Does that make sense, Mr. Deloach? And right. So do you find that the trades are good for girls? Are you finding that it's a place where you feel welcomed and you're a part of the crew?
Yes, I do think it's a fair play. And one, I want to say the women are more spoiled than the guys. The women get more help. Like they want to, like the women per se, because or say sometimes you're for like me, I'm
your
a
Skype
hinder
is
for
your
me,
Skype
but
is
you always
breaking
got like
up
help on the field.
Yeah, your Skype
Can
is
you
breaking
hear
up a little
me?
bit. Yes, I can hear you now, honey. Go ahead.
Okay, I think it's it's a fair, and I want to say there are some hinders. Like for me, I want to say my height. I'm very short, and sometimes me being like out in the field, it's like some tall things or tall buildings. But again, we're spoiled, so there's always the men that's like trying to help and trying to take over and do everything for you and stuff like that.
Yes.
So it's not like, I feel like the trades are good for everyone, no specific gender.
Good.
And I feel like you will always have help as a female, as a woman, as someone, but for there's someone that wants to help and show you their way, and you can show them your way, and it kind of goes together.
Right. What is the average salary for someone in the trades to be an electrician? Does anyone? I mean, do you know, Shia?
I don't know right off bat.
Okay.
How Mr. Harold knows.
Yeah, she is truly an apprentice.
Yes, she is.
She is focused on those tools and learning the process. So typically, apprentice electricians working for private contractors, they could start out anywhere from $15 to $18 an hour. And that changes as they progress through their career path. Now, some electricians take alternative paths where they might get into a union or a formal state-registered apprenticeship program. Then the rates could be higher. That would be based on the particular project that they're working on. So if I'm a state-registered apprentice working for a contractor that is working on a hospital or a bridge or a highway, I would be paid a prevailing wage rate. So it could be anywhere from $35 to $55 an hour. It all depends on the path that you take.
$55 an hour. Now, people want to know, can you add on more schools? Do you plan to add on more schools? Since your classroom is in Southwest Philly, why isn't Bartram High School included? So tell them how your process works.
Actually, I do have a really, really good friend, Selena, over at Bartram High School, and we are in discussions about other high school pilot programs. I am also working with the district attorney's office I am finalizing a pilot program with them that will hopefully launch this month. I am working with a nonprofit in West Philadelphia called...
wait, what is the pilot program at the district attorney's office? Is it a diversionary program?
Yes, the youth diversion division. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that should launch this month. I am also launching a pilot with Yeah Philly in West Philadelphia.
Okay. So people are really paying attention to what you're doing.
They're paying attention. They are paying attention. That's why I keep pumping them videos out, because I'm trying to show everybody what we do in the trades. I'm trying to give the trades more visibility. So yes, people are paying attention. And thank you, Andrea. The last interview that we did when you invited me to your station with Sean, that interview resonated with a lot of people. So I'm hoping we get a chance to do it again with this.
In person. With this one, we're gonna do it. We will do it soon. COVID, man, Rona stopped us all from doing what we needed to do. So I'm super stoked though, because I believe you had a solution, right? And I was absolutely right. You got off the air that day and you just kept going and going and going. So are you forming partnerships with folks who are able to now help you to expand this program? Because it needs to be expanded, right? There's a sore need for it in all parts of the city.
Yes, but I am expanding slowly and strategically. So if you talk to any of my students or anybody that I partner up with, I do believe in quality versus quantity. Okay. So, if you talk to Shia or any of my other students, I try to make sure that everybody gets the attention that they need and deserve. And I do a lot of hand holding to make sure that everybody sort of transitions into the workforce smoothly. And that's not something that typically you get at really large institutions.
Right. Absolutely. Wow. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of what you are doing. So what's next? You have a program with Vox, the big picture. I've been over into that building. I see the good things that they're doing. You're working on the diversionary program that's coming up soon with the district attorney's office. You're doing a pilot with Yay Philly, right? What's next? Let me ask Shia this. Would you recommend this to anybody?
Yes, I have already.
Close your eyes, Mr. Deloach. We're not talking to you right now.
Believe it or not, I Mr. Harold's program to a number of people that I just talked to. So I know it's a lot of young people that are interested in just getting money. Let's just say that, because it's a lot of young people, Christians, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're rich," or "You doing it?" And I'm like, "No, but it's not even about that. This is a good program. I'm in school right now. This is a good program to learn something different." So I have recommended people to take his class, and I make sure I broadcast it on my social media and stuff sometimes, to make sure people are aware that females can do it too. And it's around, his program is around, it's local.
So let me ask you this, Mr. Deloach, because people want to know, Lord, they're asking all kinds of questions. See what happens when you come on Mother's show? Andrea Manley wants to know, does he have plans to partner with any of the area companies that work heavily with union tradespeople toward placing them in city contracted work? Because the city has workforce diversity requirements.
They do, and that is a complicated process. And to be honest with you, the closest that I've come to anywhere near politics is working with the district attorney's office, and that's because I have a really, really close friend there, Christina Bradley. But when you get into the conversation about union projects and private contractors, it gets very complicated.
Right.
Unfortunately, there's not a lot of transparency when it comes to the numbers as far as diversity and women that are getting positions in a lot of the organized unions. So one of the purposes of my program and a lot of the contractors that I partner up with is to introduce more diversity. And through this diversity, some of these contracts do fall to some of the private contractors, but typically they're smaller. They're not the like huge multi-million-dollar projects that are awarded by the city and the state agencies that's typically awarded to organized construction companies.
What age group can you be to join your program? From what to what?
So my students literally range from 15 to 50. Wow. So at Vaux High School, my students there range, freshmen, sophomore, juniors, seniors. And then I have a lot of adult students that are changing careers. And if you look at some of my videos, you'll see some older guys, you'll see some mature women. And I have students, one particular young lady that works with Nashaya a lot on projects, Marilyn Candelero. She was actually a executive manager at a restaurant. And she decided that now was her time to try something different. She always wanted to try it. So when the pandemic slowed down her restaurant that she helped to run, she found a posting that a friend of mine shared on Facebook. She registered for the class, and she loves it. She loves it. She's a little tiny thing, and she's up in the attics and the crawl spaces and commercial buildings and residential homes. She's having the time of her life, and it's the truth. She can, just like Nashaya, once they get this craft under their belt, they can have unlimited income. As long as you can work, you take care of yourself, you align yourself strategically with the proper resources, you will literally make money until you decide you don't want to work, and you'll be able to pass it down.
Wow. All right. I need you to mute yourselves. I'm going to take a quick break. I have some more questions for you. Mute yourselves for me, please, so that when we go into commercial, they won't hear you and the commercials. Let me just read this for you all. Wow. Have you signed up for your forWURD membership yet? Join the forWURD family today for access to special events, exclusive digital content, word swag, VIP invitations, discounts, and our printed newsletter, WURD Press. WURD values your support. We dedicate ourselves to providing the best news coverage for our listeners every step of the way. Please visit www.wordradio.com/forward, FOURWURD, for more details. Again, that's wordradio.com/FORWURD for more details. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM. Oh my gosh. Streaming live on wordradio.com. I have something to share with you when I come back. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Your child deserves to be educated in a safe and supportive learning environment. Southwest Leadership Academy Charter School, a tuition-free public school, is accepting applications for the 2021-2022 school year. SLAC's 2 locations offer single-gender classrooms in a dual-gender environment. Kindergarten and first-grade classrooms have a 15-to-1 student-teacher ratio. Students learn music, art, and fitness. Southwest Leadership educates the whole child, preparing students to become leaders. slacks-phila.org, Instagram at Southwest Leadership Academy, or email info@slacks-phila.org.
Hi, WURD family. Beginning Monday, February 1st, Wake Up with WURD's Solomon Jones will be hosting the Big Game Trivia Contest, brought to you by Brown's Family ShopRite and the Family Business Collaborative partners Amoroso's Bakery, Dietz & Watson, and Hers Snacks. Winners of the Big Game Trivia Contest will receive a $20 gift card from Brown's Family ShopRite. Tune in February 1st and let the winnings begin.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, I have Mr. Harold DeLoach on from the let me make sure, I want to make sure that I say this properly because I love the school. Oh, man, I had it written down. The Academy of Industrial Arts, otherwise known as the TEA School. Is that what you call it, Mr. Deloach? Okay, the TEA School. And I have Nashaya on, who is one of his apprentice, apprenti, I call them. And so a lady just called in to the studio, Mr. Deloach, and she said she's offering up her house to be a project for you. She is in dire straits and can't afford an electrician. So if you want to take your students to her house and start fixing everything, she left her phone number, which I will not do on the air, but I will make sure that you have it. It's a good idea, right?
Okay.
Michael says, I felt so badly for her. She sounded like she was about to cry, but was so happy for this information. So how much of this do you give back to the people who may need this kind of help in the community but can't afford an electrician?
So, because the work is student powered, it is affordable. And
Right.
I do not advertise the school as a contracting service because it is not. Before I was a teacher, I was a full-time electrical contractor, master electrician for a little over 20 years. So what I do is I leverage my existing customer base, and I am creating partnerships with businesses. Like a lot of the videos that you may see on Facebook or YouTube, we're working at several skating rinks that are in the process of reopening.
Right.
So I use those opportunities to train my students, but I don't advertise as a contracting service.
Got you. So
Yeah.
okay, all right. What if someone wants to hire you and use you know how we go to their hair cutting school and they use the people that come into the hair salon as the guinea pigs, quote unquote. What if someone
Yes.
wants to have some work done in their house and you bring a student apprentice with you? Have you done that before?
Yes, and that's basically the model how the school works, except you don't leave with a bad haircut.
you get your electrical work done. So okay. So I got a couple of questions for you. I was asked to ask you, where did you go to school? A, and B, have you ever thought of having someone in your school that works with the students on communication? Like how would they communicate with the clients as they work with them?
Yes, that so that would be a communication module, and that is a part of the standardized curriculum that I use. So I use a curriculum that's used in 4-year apprenticeship programs, but I broke it down into micro modules, which makes it more affordable and accessible. So yes, as I become more organized, I would like to structure in more communication style training, specifically for students like Shia, who get to work alongside with me and other students. And I have to send her out as an ambassador to meet with partners and other contractors. Communication is very important. So to be honest with you, like you said, it's not just about electrical work.
Right.
It's about communicating with the world around you. So yes, that is something that will be more prominent in my curriculum as I grow and progress.
Because I have to tell you, Nashaya, I love talking to you and could literally see you in my house working on something, And so right. So it is important that when you're meeting with people and talking to them, that they feel like they, because everything moves at the speed of trust. Remember that I told you that, right? So just your eye contact, looking people in the eye, which I'm watching you, just the way you engage me in conversation, all of that makes a difference. And so as you go on out there, just and say, a lot of folks are not accustomed to people saying to them, good morning, good afternoon. Let me give you an example. My husband and I had someone doing some work in the house the other day for our alarm system. And the first guy that came, very nice, spoke to us, spent hours in our house doing the stuff. We had a problem, so they sent somebody else out from the same alarm company. And the second guy that came, I can't believe he did that. I don't know what to tell you. You won't have to call somebody else. And I'm looking at him. I'm looking at my husband's going, don't knock him out. I couldn't get him out my house fast enough, right? So when the way we talk to clients, we should not, as clients, have seen him behave that way, because he was irritated because one of the people that he worked with didn't do the right thing in our house. Does that make sense? So you always have to maintain a level of professionalism, even sometimes when you may walk into the home or the business, and the people that are running the place don't treat you well. Always remember, don't take it personally, right? You go back and you say to Mr. Deloach, this is what happened with me, with the client today. You always maintain your dignity, because remember, it is not just your name sake that you're worried about, but it's the branding of the school too, right? So all of that makes a difference. I'm proud of you, though, Nashaya.
Right.
You're 19. You are 19 and taking
Thank
no prisoners.
you.
Right?
Well, I'm 20 now. My birthday just passed like a week or two, and I want to say thank you again because working with Mr. Harris. So at first I was kind of like, well, I'm still kind of in this, like, being a little scared about the communication. Sometimes, like, people are like rough in the trades, like they just like, do this, or they don't have any filter with it. So, like you said, you can't take it personal, and you kind of have to just, like, listen and make sure you pay attention to the duty. Miss me this right now. Make sure you just listen to what is being told, and then you just go do it. Don't really worry about, because sometimes you do get nasty. Just people that don't do well with communication, and you can't take it personal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this interview was easy for you, wasn't it? I tell people all the time, it's like talking to me in my living room, honey.
Now, Andre, I do want to put this disclaimer out here.
Yes, sir.
Like I did with Sean at our first interview. Mm-hmm. So Nashaya is an anomaly.
Okay.
Right? Let me tell you something. She is very, very disarming. Mm-hmm. So what you are sensing online is even more true in person. And even though she's only 19 or 20, everywhere we go, people love her. And she has been in so many different businesses and homes. She's coming in contact with, business owners, real estate investors, and it's a lot of it has to do with the way she carries herself. She's not, hung up on anything. First of all, here's the amazing. And I asked her this the other day. She's around men all day. Marilyn doesn't get to come in, all week, but typically Shy is with me anywhere from like 3 to 6 days a week. And it's just her and a bunch of old guys. And it doesn't bother her. Yes. Like, we are the last thing she's thinking about. She fits right in. She doesn't have anything to prove. She's there to learn. She's very non-threatening. So she can fit and adapt in every environment I've taken her in. And you don't find that in every young person her age.
Yes. It's amazing. Wow. People are really talking about this right here, man. They are loving this conversation. So what does it cost to get into your school, and what is the minimum requirement in terms of education? Do you have to have a high school diploma or not?
Well, this program was strategically designed to build the workforce for the contractors within my network that need help immediately. So I'm not going to say that you have to have a high school diploma to get into the program, because you could get one along the way. And because of my connection with the Southwest CDC, there are resources there that can help you. But to be honest with you, you need to be serious. You need to be focused. If you are looking for a career in the trades, you want to change your life, you want to change careers, you want to make, honestly, probably money beyond your wildest dreams. Right. You have a driver's license, you have access to transportation, and you're not regulated by fear. Right. I don't see why I couldn't enroll you. It's $600 per semester. Each semester is 10 weeks. The first 10 weeks is basically an orientation to the trade. So Nashaya just finished her first semester, and what she basically learned was how to differentiate the different types of electricians.
Right.
So she's done residential work. She's worked with residential electricians. She's worked on some commercial projects. So she's got exposure to electricians that do commercial work. Then we talk about industrial electricians, instrumentation electricians, lineman electricians. We go through all of that. Then we go through electrical safety. And she's been with me, for quite some time. We're accident free. She pays attention. She takes her time. We evaluate how to remain safe on a job site and how to avoid causing injury to others.
Yes.
After that, we go into electrical theory. They learn about how electricity is generated, distributed, transmitted. And that helps you to understand how electricity comes all the way from the Pico generation station,
Right.
all the way to the outlet.
Toaster. Yes.
Yep, all the way there. Then we go into electrical tools. We learn how to use meters and identify screwdrivers. We talk about power equipment. And then typically I wrap up the first semester with introduction to branch circuits. And about that time, that's when we need to be hitting the streets. That's when the Taya school vans start showing up in your neighborhood.
Yes. What does it cost to get into your program?
So each semester is $600. So basically, you can go on the website. All of the information is available there at tayaschool.com. The waiver forms, there's a liability and media release waiver. There's an enrollment form. And then there's a pay your tuition button. Yeah. And everything comes straight to my email. Everything's, for the most part, automated. Maybe in about a month or so, I'm going to have somebody help me update my website a little more to build in some autoresponders.
Right.
Because I do a terrible job getting back to some people.
Okay.
I got to work on that. And that is basically because I spend most of my time in the field,
right.
With young ladies like Nashaya and a lot of great guys.
Okay. So it's tayaschool.com. So that's TAIA school.com. Yep. Okay. Yep. That's how they can reach you. Do you know what it costs per credit for college?
No. Where are we at?
I just want you to know your $600 per semester is a steal. It's just it's a whole steal and nothing but a steal. And so it gives people. Do you have a payment plan for people who wouldn't be able to pay the $600 up front?
Well, I do have a new resource that I'm working on. I do have contractors in my network that I help to get licensed through necprepclass.com. Some of those guys are willing to do some scholarships. And then I'm also, you asked me what's next. I am also working with YPN, the Youth Project Network, and they also are receiving or accepting applications into their program, which would fund my tuition for my program.
Got you.
And they're actually willing to pay the students as they go out on internships or when we go out on field trips. So YPN will pay the tuition and take care of some stipends. So I'm in the process of finalizing that now with Tim Cooper over at YPN.
Oh, wow. That would be a great partnership because then the students wouldn't have to worry about coming up with the tuition money, and it's something that pays for itself, right? Because when we have more skilled workers in the city doing what needs to be done and not having to, and if they want to go off to college after a while, that's totally up to them. But at least give them some sort of skills, that can help them right now. I am so loving this. Is there a phone number where people can reach you?
Yes, 215-840-4796. And more than likely, you're probably going to wind up talking to Nashai because I'm going to.
Okay. All right. So Nashai,
he just hands over me the phone. He's like, here, you got to You got a customer call. He's here.
Yes, and so you say, good afternoon, Taya School. How may I help you? There you go. All right. So there's the phone number, TayaSchool.com. What else am I looking for? Oh, do you do personal residences when people call you for residences, or
Yes.
you just do commercial buildings?
No. So I can train residential wiring. I can teach commercial wiring, industrial. So to be honest with you, I source and select projects based on where my students are in the learning process. So what you see in the videos are projects that I've strategically selected to help them learn physically what we've been discussing in theory.
Ashaya, you get the last word, man. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you.
Thank you again.
What is your ultimate goal from going through this program? What is it that you want to do at the very end of this? People keep asking me. Hold on one second, Ashaya. People keep asking me. Can you hear me? People keep asking me how to spell your name. They want to know your name. Spell your name.
Nishaya, Nishya.
Nishya. Yes. Nishaya. Okay, there you go. I just put it up for them. They're so impressed with you. They're loving you on social media. So they're asking you. Oh. That's so good.
Okay.
When was your birthday, Nishaya?
24th.
January 24th? Yeah. All right. So the last question that I have for you is, what do you hope to gain from going through this program?
What I hope to gain is the cool experience that I could get. I want to continue in more residences and more commercial. I really like working in the commercial unit. I just want the experience, honestly, and I want to keep getting more knowledge from the program. It's really a help program. Like sometimes when you go to, you don't really get the hands-on, or you might get it in the classroom, but you don't really get outside. You never go outside. So I want to continue to grasp all of the experience and knowledge that I can, so to do it myself, my own license or something like that, and start my own business.
Yeah, and you will. You absolutely will. There is nothing hotter than, a sister out there with her electrical tools talking about, I am the one that's about to fix your house. I am the one that's about to fix your business. And you can thank Mr. Deloach for that, for giving you that opportunity. Harold Deloach, thank you, man, so much. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for having Ms. Naisha on with us. And I expect to see great things on behalf of the Taya School and what you've accomplished over here. Okay?
Andrea, I can't thank you enough for having me and Nishya. It's always a pleasure. I follow your posts. I love that you are so personal with your audience, and you talk to your friends and family and followers about everything. Yeah. And you actually help us as we try to figure things out. So I appreciate that. There are two things that Nishya left out about what she hopes to get from the Taya School program. Is a car and to get out of her mama's house.
Hey, man.
Yes.
Let me just tell you.
On that.
Yes.
Listen, I knew I wanted to get out of my mama's house. It's good, though. That is really good. Those are good goals to have, honey. And once you get out of your mama's house, don't look back, okay? Go back and visit her for holidays. Go give her a kiss on the weekend. But, hunty, when you get your independence, looking for you. It's such a pleasure talking to the both of you. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Bye. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
The WURD Radio Newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting wordradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio Newsletter. As a business owner, hiring and developing people from the community that your company serves is one of the best ways to show commitment to that community. Let WURD Radio help with Livelihood, our new initiative that connects Philadelphians with companies like yours. We'll feature your business, open employment opportunities, and resources to connect your company with talent and ensure that you reach your target demographic. To learn more about how Livelihood can help you build your team, visit wordworks.com. That's WURD Works.com. Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network.
Celebrate Black History Month at the virtual 29th Annual African American Children's Book Fair on Saturday, February 6th, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. To register, go to the AfricanAmericanChildren'sBookProject.org. The free event will feature authors and illustrators bringing the pages of their books to life with panels and readings. For more information, call 215-878-BOOK. Remember, a book opens up a world of opportunities.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDRadio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I'm just learning that at 3 p.m. Governor Wolf is making an announcement about the snow, and so that will be played in my in queue here. I know I have Commissioner Sabir calling in, so when he calls in, just tell him to hold on for a second, please. We'll make sure that happens. This just in, Dustin Diamond, best known for playing Screech on the hit 90s sitcom, has died at the age of 44 from stage 4 lung cancer. Roger Paul, the actor's spokesman, told NBC News he died Monday morning of carcinoma. Just a lot going on out here. Speaking of dying, a Missouri hospital facing backlash after allegedly refusing to admit patient who later died in the parking lot. The devastated spouse says she still has no idea why the hospital refused to admit her husband. Just want to make sure that there's just so much going on. A Missouri woman is condemning a hospital for allegedly allowing her husband to die in the parking lot after refusing to take him in. Jeez Louise, it's just horrible. And apparently the man, the hospital refused treatment. So they're trying to figure out now what happened. Hospital sent out a statement. This is why I tell you all the time, y'all, I can't. People are just too much for me. Let me go over here and make sure that many who received the coronavirus vaccine wonder, what can I safely do? The vaccinated ponder how to live their best lives. I don't know what is going on with my computer today. Jesus be offense. All right. Let me just go on over here. Let me see if I can do this. Let me read this. Because there's I'm telling you, every once in a while something happens and you go, why is this happening to me? This is where I am today, right? Let me pull this up. If Hollywood is going to if Hollywood is going to hire black actors, they also need to hire black hairstylists. It's another one that was written. I don't know why these people, so listen, y'all, my computer is acting real funky today. Let me tell you this. 14-year-old earned a master's degree, and now she's an environmental scientist and entrepreneur. Was written by Charlene Reinhardt from Black Enterprise 50. She is, her name is Dorothy Jean Tillman, garnered national attention when she received her master's degree at the age of 14. Now, the Chicago teen is breaking into entrepreneurship by exposing more youth to opportunities in STEAM. She's given more Chicago youth a head start in life by showing them what's possible. I know one thing that I would want every kid to know is that what I did is an option and they can do it too, says Tillman to Rolling Out. It doesn't take a genius or someone who has been learning forever. I am not perfect. I am not the smartest person in the world. It just takes dedication. STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, is a growing field, and Tillman wants more youth to know they can get involved, something my husband talks about all the time. The 14-year-old has always had a passion for STEM, obtaining high rankings in all those subjects in school. This inspired her to pursue a master's degree at Unity College. Tillman made history as the youngest environmental and sustainable scientist in the United States. Her desire to expand opportunities is stronger than ever since COVID-19 has eliminated many traditional activities for youth. So she's been working on STEM labs for kids because she really wants them to go into STEM-related field work. And so she launched a STEAM camp. Look at this. She's 14 years old. What is our excuse? What is our excuse? She is 14 years old. Okay. Again, from Black Enterprise. Let me open this up and see if I can see this to Brianna's lineup, because my computer is acting real weird today. I don't know why, but we're not going to worry about it on today. Let's see. Open this up. Let's see. All right. Michael, my computer is acting weird, sir. Oh, look at this. Hey, Lord, because my computer's acting simple. I am going to have someone in. Let me pull that up. Michael says it's the snow. Something is going on. Everything that I'm touching today is real wonky and it's not acting right. So I'm not really sure what's happening here. Lord. Someone wrote this from the USA Today. Says, if we don't hold Trump accountable for his high crimes, America will pay a high price. If Nixon, Reagan, and Clinton had suffered more consequences, okay, we might not be listening to Republicans dodge and dissemble about Trump's culpability. It was written by Larry Strauss, and he said, some years ago, one of my students won a full scholarship to a prestigious university and then stopped doing her homework. We did the usual interventions, but to no avail. When final grades were due, her other teachers and I agonized over what to do. In retrospect, there should have been no dilemma. Surely some other student on the wait list deserved the opportunity, but we loved this kid and knew she had overcome a lot, and we succumbed to our emotions. We all passed her. Sounds familiar? Passing her on to that university, she didn't even make it there for an entire school year. I probably should have already learned from passing another wayward senior several years earlier, but he was truly a brilliant kid with no deficit in smarts or skills, so I figured. So what was the harm in letting him graduate and outgrow his recalcitrance? A year later, his girlfriend asked me to write a letter on his behalf to a federal judge in hope that he would get a sentence to the lower end of 10 to 15 years. And so we have to, I guess at the end of the day, this author is saying we have to hold people accountable for their stuff. And we saw that with our president that has just left, that he has done a ton of things. We see a lot of Republicans, a news report just came out not 20 minutes ago, that a lot of Republicans are leaving the Republican Party as a direct result of all the things that have gone on here, but we have allowed this president to get away with. But it's not just Donald Trump. Lots of people in leadership have just not done what they were supposed to do. And here we are, right? Here we are in a scenario where people are not being held accountable, which is why I'm asking the city of Philadelphia to start holding people accountable and stop passing the torch around. Well, you know, we're doing this and we wrote a letter and we're making sure more vaccines come out. All these things that you're doing reactively does not help the folks in the moment. So who are we holding accountable for the mistakes that are being made here? Lord have mercy. It's always something in this country. Passenger accuses airline of racial bias after finding African American service charge on bank statement. Shut up. What? Okay, a woman has accused, this was written by Helen Coffey 8 hours ago. You should limit it to me once a day because these are hard. A woman has accused American Airlines of racial bias after finding a payment labeled as African American service charge on her bank statement. Kyetra Bryant came across the charge after flying from Charlotte Douglas Airport, North Carolina on Thanksgiving last year. Both Miss Bryant and her boyfriend used different credit cards to pay for their luggage at the airport, and both had the charge listed as African American on their statements. After contacting the airline and being told the matter was being investigated but receiving no further updates, Miss Bryant said she was never flying with them again in a social media post. What is going on? Honestly, I didn't expect a response, but I'm not stupid, and no, I don't think it was a mistake, she said. There's really no justification. We definitely felt targeted. That's insane, and that is an instance of racial bias. Ms. Bryant said she has still received no answer as to why the charge was listed that way. Oh, my Lord, my Lord. There's so much craziness going on out here. I don't even know where to start. So I am going to do this again, and forgive me, y'all. Oh, Brother Spread Love, let me get you, because I keep missing you on all my shows. How are you, sir?
Ooh, baby, I'm missing you. Tell me how the road. Can you play with D Brown?
What's up, sir?
D Brown, Jah give Jah the glory, Selassie, I live Jah, Rastafari, Empress Minute. D Brown, earth strong today, mama. Beg in touch with D Brown for the people. And
Dennis Brown?
Bring some soothing from the Crown Prince, you know?
Yes, sir. How are you? What's going on?
Glory, mama. How you stay, mama?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there. I've been missing you in the last several shows. What's going on?
I'll give Jah the glory, mama. You know, just listening and give thanks. And give thanks for Brother Mike on the boards coming in despite the weather to help us all get it together. You know what I mean?
Yes, really, truly. Thank you, Michael. Because if you were not there, I'd be sucking salt. I need a producer to do what I'm supposed to do. So thank you, Brother Spread Love, for reminding me of that. What else you'd like to talk about? Quickly, because I got a minute before I have to go to break.
Yeah, you know the time, mama. I just want to say love. Everyone, please be safe.
Yes.
Give thanks for all the family, WRD family, all of our families. God bless everyone that's going through it right now, especially with the suffration and the grief and all the incarcerated, especially those incarcerated unjustly, the wickedness and the corruption that still goes on that people don't want to address because I guess in their mind they get paid being fresh, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
All right. Anyway, I say one more thing, mama.
Yes.
Everyone keep asking what's the solution. Jah Almighty, Jah Christ, Selassie Jah, Rastafari, Empress Minette. That answer don't never change. The same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. But now, mama, listen, I beg you play some D Brown. Do you know
I'll
what it
try.
means to have a revolution?
Oh, you know that's my song. And what it takes to make a solution. Fighting against oppression. Come on, don't start with me, Brother Spread Love. I am a real Jamaican over here. I'll talk to you later.
Get chosen. More love.
Love. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, now he's going to have to play Dennis Brown for me. Oh, yeah. All right. Let me open this up and read this. Have you signed up for your Forward membership yet? Join the Forward family today for access to special events, exclusive digital content, word swag, VIP, and our printed WordPress. Word values your support. We dedicate ourselves to providing the best news coverage for our listeners every step of the way. Please visit wordradio.com/forward. That's FORWURD for more details. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back with Prince if we're not pulled off by the governor, right after these messages.
This is not a fad for us. We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are undeniably, indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media. WURD.
Today, millions of Americans face barriers to obtaining a college degree. But at WGU, we're setting out to change that. With a range of scholarships and grants aimed at expanding access to a quality education, making tuition more affordable, and giving students a path forward, we're helping people turn obstacles into opportunities. Because everyone deserves a chance to succeed. WGU. Ambition never rests. Visit WGU.edu to learn more.
Celebrating Black history all day, every day. Maddie Humphreys.
You can't proclaim that people have inalienable rights from a common creator and say you own some of those people.
This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Philadelphia, independent Black media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, I want to thank you all for being patient. My computer is acting up. We can't decide if it's the weather outside. I've never seen it do this before, but you all are being patient, so I love you all. Prince from Schuylkill, how are you, sir? What's going on?
Hey, you know we out here moving snow. And
Lord.
Yeah, we're paying people anywhere between $27.50 and $30 an hour.
Wow.
So, you know, we've been on this roller coaster since Sunday, you know, so... You know, it's just an opportunity to employ our own. So, you know,
yes.
We don't. But I just wanted to call you because the big news a couple months ago, somebody was called in and say, "Come, Prince, say the big news." So my interest was to be the NAACP president. So in August, you know, NAACP National had taken over our NAACP. And yet, through all that's been going on, there's been no adequate representation. And if we had representation, we may have more opportunities now. And so I went to throw my hat in the ring, and then someone said, well, you know, do you know Jerry Mondesai's son? And I was like, well, what has he done? Who knows him? What has he done? You can't just give these opportunities to people based on favors. You know what I mean? Then, you know, God rest the soul of his dad. Didn't give too much for him when he was living because I thought he wasn't about the people, but God rest his soul. You don't talk about the dead. But you surely can't say give his son an opportunity to run one of the national chapters of the NAACP, and he's not done anything in the immediate community. I don't know him, and I don't know what he's done. So that was the big news a couple months ago. I'm very interested because there should have been elections in January, and there was no election. So it's like the politics of this city is destroying us in ways that we may never rebound from.
It is. It's interesting because I'm telling you, I have never seen anything like it in my life. And it's on every level, Prince. It is on every level.
Right. And if you don't want to, if you're already getting a paycheck, if you're getting taken care of, don't stifle the growth of opportunity and let somebody help people who's about the business of helping people. There's no way that you can be any apologetic in any kind of way for the deaths that we've experienced with youth and our seniors and just the average folk of this city right here. You got 50 deaths. And it's 31 days. You know, to not adequately address that. If there was anyone else, you would have fired them. That Caucasian woman that was here before the African American woman, how many people died under her watch? So if you're talking about accountability, that's all we're looking for. Don't make it racial when the accountability is bigger than the race.
Right.
So that's, and I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I know the governor's about to come on.
Prince. So you know, when I started the show this morning, I was spouting some Black history facts, and I talked about you guys. You know, you and Woody and the rest of them, and I said I've learned some things over this weekend that I could not believe what I was hearing. Everything you said on this air, and then some, it was being revealed to me, and I'm saying to myself, how is it okay for us to live like this, to have people in these areas that are supposedly our leaders, and we're watching this city crumble down around our ears, and nobody is taking responsibility for anything? How does that happen, right?
Well, right. It doesn't make any sense because George had told you guys that when she gets her back up against the wall, she's going to come to Black radio station. And two big mistakes she's made. Number one, she fired a police officer who got his job back in arbitration. So that means she didn't know what she was doing because this is a collective bargaining city. So without a CBA, that's what you're supposed to learn from the beginning, regardless of the politics. And secondly, you know, we got a 12-year-old boy going to jail for the neglect of his parents.
Oh, I know.
We're not locking the mom up. We say, let's lock the father up, who's a black male, and let's lock the other black male in that household up, the son. Although if the mom knowing that the father is ex-con and he has 2 guns in the house and he has a felon, she is aiding and abetting him. And so this probably wasn't the first time she left out and left the kids in the house. But yet you were willing, both politicians.
All right. Okay, so Prince,
Go ahead.
Prince, do me a favor. Give me 5 minutes and call me back. We got to put the governor on right now. Call me back, though, because I want to finish this conversation with you, okay? All right, bye-bye. All right, Michael, go ahead and put the governor in, please.
And will only worsen at nightfall. And while we were out and forced to keep the roads safe and passable, it's truly critical that if you can avoid travel, do so. Now, when we look at storm operations, we always prioritize our high traffic routes so that vehicles that must travel do so as safely as possible. And we also prioritize routes leading to our healthcare facilities. So we move staff both before and during the storm to address the specific regional needs. And again, the 511pa.com is a continued resource for you for the latest travel information. So even once the storm moves out of the state, our mission will continue. As with every storm, we will continue to treat our roadways throughout the storm until roads are clear. As cleanup continues, we ask the public to avoid non-essential traffic so our crews can get the roads clear. Because it will take time to clear all lanes and the shoulders. Now just keep in mind, even if a road appears clear, please use caution as our slow-moving plow trucks are out in full force. So in addition to the latest traffic conditions, our 511PA service also shows the location of 1,000 traffic cameras that you can view and where our vehicles are and when the state roads were last plowed. So again, we ask you to be our continued partners in keeping our roadways safe. That means if you must drive, please do so based on the conditions, slowing down, and giving our plows and every other vehicle plenty of space. So please think of safety first, today and every day. Thank you. And next will be Director Randy Padfield of the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency.
Thank you, Deputy Secretary Batula. Good afternoon, everyone. As we do with a lot of weather systems, we've been monitoring this storm system since before it even entered the U.S. while it was still off the West Coast. We do this to anticipate impacts and timing so that we can be better prepared to respond to any situations that would arise during the storm. As we have seen in the past, many systems this time of year can be complex, which requires us to be nimble to adjust plans and tactics based on the immediate impacts, since they can quickly change. No two systems are exactly similar or alike, so being able to quickly identify changes and respond accordingly is really key to protecting citizens. Yesterday, we upstaffed our Commonwealth Response Coordination Center, which has been activated continuously for the COVID-19 response since last March, in anticipation of the impacts of the storm. Even before we upstaffed and officially added additional staffing for the storm, there was a series of coordination calls on the days leading up to it so we can monitor the weather forecast and adjust to any changes as needed. The Commonwealth Response Coordination Center is staffed either in person or virtually by personnel from Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, Pennsylvania State Police, the Turnpike Commission, and National Guard. Other state agencies, such as the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission, American Red Cross, Department of Human Services, and Department of Health, stand at the ready to assist depending on the impacts. The activation includes our Business Emergency Operations Center, which is critical in distributing information to private sector partners that may be impacted by highway travel restrictions that are implemented throughout the storm due to deteriorating road conditions. Because storm impacts are dynamic and conditions change rapidly, it requires regular coordination and continual communication among state agencies, neighboring states, and our county partners to address any impacts, adjust travel restrictions as conditions change, and respond to any incidents that occur. We do this all in an effort to balance the safety of the citizens while trying to minimize disruptions to the distribution networks, as the Deputy Secretary discussed. During this storm, we're specifically concerned about ensuring shipments of COVID-19 vaccine can make it safely to their final destinations. While these shipments are scheduled by the federal government using commercial shippers, we have the ability to monitor these shipments and assist in troubleshooting any issues to ensure that they are safely delivered to their final destinations. We've seen great success when implementing this strategy in the past relative to limited time travel restrictions, as it significantly reduces significant incidents that result in major roadways being closed for extended periods of time, which sometimes jeopardizes the motoring public's safety. Thus far, we have seen some impacts from the accidents and incidents overnight, However, they've resulted in highway closures that have been in limited impact and have not stranded anyone outside in the inclement weather for extended periods of time. Obviously, we really like to thank everybody that has stayed off the road up to this point, because it really, with the complex nature of this storm, the impacts could have been much greater. Our staff is also monitoring for other impacts, such as power outages, heating failures, and other types of situations that we see this time of year that are really exacerbated by the cold weather, or that result in problems with extended response times due to inclement weather and road conditions. As this current storm continues to evolve, we want everyone to know that we are prepared to respond to any situation that may arise. We also ask that everyone avoid travel if at all possible, especially during times when snowfall rates increase significantly. As the Deputy Secretary indicated, there are some areas of the state where we anticipate snowfall rates of between 2 and 4 inches an hour, which is very difficult to be able to maintain roadway conditions during, and is very difficult to see. So we really want the public to stay off the roadways during those times. If you must travel, we ask that everyone be aware of road conditions, such as going to 511 PA, to assess the road conditions along your travel route, and drive with due regard to the road conditions. Plan accordingly and be prepared in case conditions change rapidly, to include potentially becoming stranded if roadways become impassable. Thank you for everything that you've done up to this point. And now I'd like to turn the press conference back over to Alexis, who will open it up for questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Padfield. So first up, we have Victoria Lucas from Fox 43.
Yes, hello.
Yes,
hi. My question is for the deputy, Ms. Melissa Batula. I just wanted to know if you guys were teaming up with officials and any capacity police to, help those in need in this time if accidents may occur on the roads.
Yes, we are actually in constant communication with both the Pennsylvania State Police and PEMA. And if we do have stranded motorists, we have the ability to reach out and make sure they get what they need to stay safe during that event. As Director Padfield said, fortunately so far with the storm, with people staying off the roads, we haven't seen extended period of times that have left to that. But again, we are in constant communication with our Pennsylvania State Police and work together as those incidents do occur.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next we have Ryan Eldridge from CBS 21. Ryan, you can go ahead and unmute and ask a question if you've got one.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us. My question is specifically, and I know Director Padfield, you had just addressed that, but I don't think it's so much all about the vaccine. It's also about making sure that medical service personnel, essential workers, and then any essential treatments or drugs can get to where they need to go to not only help COVID-19 patients, but also Pennsylvanians in need, and so that those workers can get to Pennsylvanians in need and get to the hospital system. Can you talk about what those efforts look like and maybe some of the precautions you've taken to make sure that essential workers are taken care of throughout the storm?
Sure, Ryan, that's a very good question. So, it is a multi-layered approach. So many of the healthcare institutions have their emergency operations plans. They have ways to be able to get their essential personnel in, or they hold over their essential personnel during times of inclement weather. Obviously, if there's needs for transportation of those folks, they can reach out to our county partners, our emergency management coordinators that are in the counties. They also have resources that they can bring to bear. And if it exceeds the county's capabilities, then obviously they can send a resource request to us, and we have the ability to be able to task either different state agencies with the ability to be able to go out and move people if we need to. Usually this is handled at a much lower level, but we have had extenuating circumstances in the past where we've had to deploy National Guard to be able to go out and handle this. When it comes to not just the COVID-19 vaccine, but other supplies, there are ways, obviously, and the Deputy Secretary discussed this. Our personnel work together in the Commonwealth Response Coordination Center. So if we have any specific need to be able to get a commodity to a certain institution, we have the ability to be able to work with Pennsylvania State Police, our county partners from emergency management, the Turnpike Commission if it's coming across the Turnpike, as well as PennDOT, to be able to make sure that we have the ability to be able to get that valuable commodity to wherever it needs to get to in a timely fashion. We really take responsibility for this and make sure that we have the folks that are coordinating and communicating on a regular basis. We know that we've had situations before where, people have been trapped in trapped queues out there in the roadway because of major incidents that have occurred. And we've been able to work as a group of agencies to be able to either get something that's, a commodity that's in that trapped queue out of there, to be able to get it on the road, or to be able to reroute it. And we've done very similar situations in the past where we have folks that have specialized medical needs, such as folks that are on transplant lists and those types of things that, worst case scenario, if something would become available to them during an inclement weather event, we have the ability to be able to work with all of our partners to be able to get them to where they need to be able to receive that transplant. So it's really a seamless system, but it requires constant communication and constant monitoring of all the conditions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up is Dickie Nassar from KDKA, who I don't believe is here. Sorry about that. Next, after that will be Miles Bryan from WHYY. Oops, excuse me. Miles, you can go ahead and unmute.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
We can.
Thanks. Thanks for being here. I don't know if I have any specific questions other than can you folks, especially with PennDOT, speak to the situations around Philly in terms of highway passability advice? For my audience, I think they'd be especially curious to know about what the roads are like in Southeast PA and what you're seeing and hearing.
Right now, the roads in Philadelphia aren't terribly bad, but we are concerned about the high winds that we're seeing in Philadelphia right now with, I'm hearing of 10 to 15 miles per hour sustained and 30 miles per hour gusts, which really raise a concern on the interstate system. Should we have empty tractor trailers that don't have any load for the ability really of being blown over? So at this time, we do have Tier 1 restrictions, so that prohibits vehicles that are empty or commercial vehicles that are empty from running on those. So those are the restrictions we currently have placed in the interstates around Philadelphia, but we do not have any more severe restrictions on that because the conditions are relatively good overall on the interstate systems.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Thomas Fitzgerald from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Thomas, you can go ahead and unmute and ask your question.
For those of you who are listening, we had to cut in because we had Governor Wolf people talking about what's happening with the snow today. I didn't even look outside my window. I got to let you know, my little buddy that comes and clears our snow every time it snows out here in our driveway was out there at 10 o'clock last night. I tapped my husband and I said, you don't have to shovel the snow again or use the snow blower because he's out there. I don't know. And he will not take money from us. So we have to try and figure out ways to pay him. But it's pure ice out there. We keep hearing the ice falling. So if you do not have to go anywhere, please stay home. Please, 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 we're begging you. I was supposed to have Prince. Go ahead. Come on, Prince. Let's go. Prince, call back. I appreciate it. Let's go, Prince.
Hey, thank you. I was speaking towards the idea that the audacity that they would have to lock the young kid up at 12 years old and make him totally responsible for the shooting of the sibling, and not charge the mom. And I get really disturbed that the pastors of this city didn't make that a priority to say, hey, we're not going to lock this young African-American male up. We're going to put the blame where it belongs, and that's on the mom and the dad. And so we have to do a better job. I'm telling you, because what you're doing is, and what they don't realize, they're getting away with it now. But only 18% of the population is voting. And you're making it clearly between a have and a have not. That's it.
Right.
Period. Like you're not stronger than me. You're not more dominant than I am. You don't have more people when it comes to calling dogs. You don't have more. So I wouldn't want to go there that way, them against me. But it's the have against the have-nots. And they're clearly drawing this line. All these preachers in the city, that won't speak up for a young black male. You talk about Emmett Till, he's already in the grave, but you don't talk about a young boy getting ready to put a noose around his neck for something he should not be responsible for.
Right, because he did not pull the trigger. His 5-year-old brother pulled the trigger, correct?
Right, but where was the parents at?
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So then you can't charge her. So then my question then, because I asked, I was given an answer that I can't talk about publicly yet, because apparently they're going to talk about it, why they charged the 12-year-old, that there was a method to the madness for charging the 12-year-old, ostensibly to get him some help. So
let me ask you this question then. You can lock up a 12-year-old, but you can't find 499 other people who murdered people in this city right here.
Oh, man.
How about that? How about that? You will take this little kid away from his family, strip another black family of the only male, the next male kid that's in the household, strip him of that. Leave the mom who's culpable in this situation to run free and meet other men and bring them into this household. But you won't find 499 murders in this city right here. So you're going to tie it into this. And then it's bad enough you can't send them to school and give them Ritalin. You can't send them to school and put them on that short bus. So you want to incarcerate him in order to get him help. What kind of help does he need? He's been psychologically trauma by watching those kids when his mom and dad was out doing whatever they was doing.
Right.
I'm just saying that just
yeah.
my soul.
And I'm right there with you. I am absolutely right there with you. It's so disheartening. I don't know, Prince. I gotta tell you, man, the things that I am seeing and feeling and fielding in this city is mind blowing. It's mind blowing. I almost wish I didn't know the things that I know, because these people are out of control, just out of control.
If you hear anything else about the NAACP, let us all know. Please let us all know, because this is just ridiculous. I've been a member since college. You know what I mean? And I've done a lot of things. I have a lot of plans on how to tie them in to a minority opportunity and have them be a big employment service in the city. You just can't let it sit dormant like this. Especially under these times, you have the great opportunity to get all the grant money you want, because they've already shown, folks have already shown the ability to lose the services by protesting and running in the Capitol. And some of them people you didn't hear about run nonprofits. And so if we take the money from them, we can transfer that money somewhere else, but we can't do it without an operation. And
I agree. And no, well, hold on one second, Prince, because the other question I have is, where has the NAACP been in the middle of all of this? All this news has been breaking forth, and nobody's talking about this stuff.
Well, you've had a chance to. I mean, it's the national had taken it over, and that's between the national and the former president. So if the former president is no longer the president, then the national has a responsibility to transfer the opportunity. So nobody said you need to give it to somebody else, but let people run, have an election. Don't collect money based on servicing African Americans and then don't service African Americans. That's the devastating part right there. Once again, you have lifetime members of the NAACP in this city right here, folks that are 90 and plus, and yet they have no idea of any representation of anything talking about vaccine, virus, testing. Nowhere. You have a silent voice, and that is unacceptable. When you talk about accountability, and I hear you mention accountability, we got to look in the mirror at ourselves. Before you start telling me about what some white man has done to me, who I've not seen, who I've not met, I'm going to tell you about the people who live right next door to me, the ones who come out to shake my hands and get voted on, the ones who get in office and forget me.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about
Prince,
right there.
Prince, one more thing before, because people are asking me, do you do private residences for snow removal?
We do, but we do. But the opportunity right now that we have is to pay people an above prevailing wage and have them have the opportunity for the next couple days to make a considerable amount of money.
So how can they reach you, Prince, if they want to make the money for snow removal?
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Off the air, I'm going to share with Mike. Now, they have to do it now because this storm will be over soon.
Right.
We have to clean it up. You know,
right.
And so I'll leave an email with Mike, and Mike can give it to whoever calls up to the station.
Okay.
And
all right.
Again, I'm only talking about opportunity. I ain't talking about long-term job. I ain't talking about, I'm talking about right now feeding families. And I thank you for every opportunity you give me to put something out there to help the next person.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Prince. Have a good one, okay?
Bye.
You're welcome. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. I'm going to let Michael play a small snippet of Dennis Brown's Revolution and hope Facebook don't shut us down. I don't play music often, but when we do, we seem to have a slight problem. So pay attention to that, Michael. Play about a minute of it, and then we can move on. The next thing you will hear is Dennis Brown, Revolution. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. We'll be right back after these messages.
Listen to Laborers Live.
We created the weekend. We created the 40-hour work week. We just want enough to feed our family, be able to send our children to college, and let our next generation do better than we did.
To people that might have forgot how important unionism is in a country like the United States. People now infringing on our 8-hour work day, trying to work people more than 8 hours without overtime, trying to work people without benefits. In the long run, everybody's getting a fat paycheck except the worker. So this is really a wake-up call for America.
The struggle is continuous. Tune in to Laborers Live every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. Sponsored by LESIT, the Laborers Employers Cooperation Education Trust of the Laborers District Council of Philadelphia and vicinity.
Local 332, Sam Staten Jr. Business Manager. Local 57, Esteban Vera Business Manager. Local 135, Dan Woodall Jr. Business Manager. Local 413, James Harper Jr. Business Manager. The Laborers District Council, Ryan Boyer Business Manager, and Tony Staten, Executive Director of LESIT.
Attention WURD audience, do you know that you can get help with your PICO energy bill? PICO is here to help you with financial help through various assistance programs, including the PICO CAP program, which provides a monthly credit for eligible low-income customers based on the customer's total household gross income and energy usage. If you are experiencing financial hardship, you may qualify for the PICO CAP program.
And PICO Cares is the customer assistance and referral evaluation service designed to assist special needs, low-income customers who have a temporary personal or financial hardship that prevents the payment of your PICO energy bill. If you have a special needs child or adult in your care, your household may qualify for the CARES program.
Call 1-800-774-7040 today to see if you qualify due to an existing situation or a change in circumstances within your household. Call 1-800-774-7040 today for more information on the PICO CAP or PICO CARES program. PICO, powering our communities.
Jobs, entrepreneurship opportunities, small business resources, and financial literacy. Livelihood. The new initiative from WURD Radio to connect Philadelphians to resources to help take the next steps in their professional lives. WordWorks.com features career readiness tools, entrepreneurship resources, funding opportunities, and events to expand your livelihood. Visit WURDworks.com right now and take the next step in your professional journey. Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Thank you, Michael, for giving us a snippet of Dennis Brown, Revolution. I always worry about playing these songs too long because then Facebook get a little snippy with us, you know. Let's see. Jacob. How are you, Jacob?
All right. Peace be unto you, Sister Andrea. How
Peace
you
be
doing?
unto you too, sir. What's going on?
Well, we making it happen. You know what I mean? We giving thanks. We're trying to help people, right? You know, thank God. I heard what Prince was just talking about, the NAACP.
Yes.
Thank God for Dr. Stanford, right? Who, with this COVID-19 thing, when we couldn't get tested, she went out with her own money, you know, took a loan out, a personal loan to help her people. That's somebody that really, I would have liked to seen the NAACP, which is over 100 years old, do more. Because I heard Prince say he haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything either. Have you?
No.
Okay. Well, there we go. So, you know, my thing is we got a lot of work to do. It's not mission impossible, because if it were, God would not have put it on us, right? Remember the one, he doesn't place a burden on us greater than we can bear. So the only thing we got to do, especially in our community, is get busy with these young boys killing one another. Now we can concentrate on that, Andre. I say all the time.
Right.
We had to save the country first, and then, you know that song say when you save if you save your mind, everything else will follow. You know,
right.
If you free your mind, everything else will follow. So we know what we got to do for that. But the struggle again that we see, this thing is bigger than just black and white.
Right.
You know, we turn it into that. But Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said, "Suffering anywhere is suffering everywhere." And one thing I heard you mention, Woody. Woody always, he says what God tells us, that there's only one mankind, one humanity that he created, and he wants us to do better by each other. That's just simple things that we have to do, you know, because you look at Russia, or the things that they're doing to the people there, is that white on black? That's not white on black. And if you look in Africa, places where black people are oppressing black people, is that white on black? No. It's
right.
inhumanity to man. We're going to have to address it wherever we see it. And, of course, where we are is where we work. That's why I'm so thankful for a sister like you, because you use your talents where you are, and that's exactly what we need in this area. So as Reverend Joe say, keep on doing what you do, and may God bless you and yours so that we can get the strongest you. You know, like they say, behind every great man is a good woman or a great woman. Well, behind every great woman is a good man. So I want to say hello to your husband there.
Yes, he is amazing. I'm telling you, and has protected me with his very life. So I make no bones about this man that I am married to, and what a wonderful human being he has been. And quietly in the background, as I am stomping and taking over the world and doing what needs to happen on behalf of the young people, you know, and just the citizenry. It's a lot. It's a lot. But God bless me with him, and I am grateful. So thank you for honoring him. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Peace, sister.
All right. Peace, sisters. Peace, my brother. All right. Yusef, are you there?
Yes. Yes, I wanted to speak on what the caller before this caller was saying about the 12-year-old boy being charged. Yeah, because he was left with to watch his siblings, and the 5-year-old Tyler shot the girl, and now he's being held responsible for that because he wasn't able to stop it or something. He didn't place the gun there, right? He didn't put the bullets in the gun, but because he allowed his younger siblings to do what siblings do, and he didn't realize that they had got a hold of a gun, and before he could stop them, the bullet was fired, and the sister was killed. The 9-year-old girl, is that the same 9-year-old girl?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
Yes.
They're blaming the victim again.
Yep.
It's always like that. You know, the 12-year-old can only do what a 12-year-old does. He himself was a child.
Absolutely, and is now traumatized because his sister is gone and his 5-year-old brother is traumatized and everybody's traumatized. So then my question becomes, what do we do? How do we stand up to help this young boy who is 12 years old? I agree with Prince. He should not have been charged. His parents should have been charged, right, for reckless endangerment. So how do you hold a 12-year-old accountable for, Jesus.
This takes me back to my own childhood, Miss Sanders. When I was in child welfare, I was placed there at the age of 6 months of age because of what my father wouldn't do for me and what my mother did do to me. Okay? I forgave them because I knew that they grew up in hard times themselves. When I came out, I didn't hold no grudge against them. I never met my father but one time. And with the time I had business with my mother, you know, she couldn't get over what she had done to me. She was traumatized by what she had done to me. And I realized it. So we couldn't get along because my presence brought upon a constant reminder of the mistake that she made that caused me to spend my childhood in child welfare. And that's what's going on. They're traumatizing the parents, too. Instead of, they seek help. But what they call help is really hurting you. You're going to put this boy in juvenile? Is that what they're talking about doing? Put him in a juvenile institution until he turned 18 and he didn't pull no trigger? He needs help. No. They who left him with them children need to be held responsible for leaving a child with children. Okay?
I agree, Yusef. Thank you so much for calling, my brother.
Yes.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon, okay? All right.
Yes.
Bye-bye. All right, bye-bye. George, I'm hearing that you're going to be nice today. Please, my stomach can't take it. And I have a guest on the line waiting to talk to me. So what's up, George?
Oh, they want to hear all this here. The guests say, boy, I'm lucky. I get to hear this. I don't, you know. You know, first of all, everything Prince said was true. You know, that part is true. Now, you know that it's, you know, just your show is not Save the Negro. You know, your show is not called Save the Negro. We got some other shows that, you know, is called Save the Negro. You know, Kenny has given them their marching orders. Now, anytime white folks want the commissioner out of here, you know she's doing a bad job. Now, anytime they get to, like, openly saying, listen, we can't have this here. This is bad for the city. They're not doing their job. You know, if it had been anybody else, you'd have ran them out of here. Listen, I wanted to stick around so they can get punished even more. I mean, it's like, first of all, them cops that charged that 12-year-old, don't put that on Krasner, okay? Because he only can go by what you're bringing. He only can prosecute what you're bringing. So therefore, everybody gonna say, "Oh, it's Krasner." No, it's the cops. Now they like Prince said, 480 deaths, right? Not 100, not even 50 of them was solved. Not even 50. So what are we talking about? But you can find time to lock up a 12-year-old kid. I mean, so it's such foolishness and ridiculousness, you know, and it's crazy. But I didn't even call you for that. I called you for this here. You know that these people go around and taking pictures of your house and then putting it up, talking about selling it and all that there.
Right.
Well, talking to a lawyer, they can't do that. The law says they cannot take a picture of your property without your permission and solicit it. That's what they're doing. And they could be sued for that. So for people who, when they taking pictures of your house and they passing it around, telling about sell your house, and they send it all out of town, all you got to do is get that picture or that card when they send it to you or whatever, and take it to a lawyer, and the lawyer gets you about $10,000 or $15,000 real quick. You know, people just take advantage of people in these urban, you know, like in these neighborhoods.
Yeah.
They just come in your neighborhood, do all this crazy stuff, and get away with it because nobody wants to share information. You know, the problem is everybody want to come on here and talk about themselves. Realistically, nobody want to hear about their trauma. You know, you have these people come on these shows and tell you about their trauma. Who wants to hear about their trauma? Everybody want to know what's going on in their neighborhood. How can they get better services? And those elected officials listen to the show, just like all these other people pay people to listen to Black Talk. So in Black Talk, the only Black Talk you got in Philadelphia is URD. I mean, advertisers, that's what they say. Well, how many calls was there? What is their geographics? And this and that and the other. The object of the station for the station to survive is money. If no revenue come in, URD can't survive. So all these cheerleaders who don't never want to do nothing for the station but want to sit there and give all these elected officials all the praise and say they're doing such a wonderful job. The only time you see elected officials is when they're running. They don't want to pay for no advertisement, but they're going to get dogged out, you know. Anybody come on here who can afford to pay and don't pay, well, we're gonna have a roll call. We're gonna look at your, as y'all would say, we're gonna look at your receipt. You know, we're gonna talk about what you have done and what you haven't done, and what you should be rewarded for, and what you should be punished for.
Well, thank you, my brother, because I have a guest waiting on the line for me now. And listen, I appreciate you. Have a good one, okay? All right, bye-bye. Oh, my goodness. It's only Monday. It's February 1st, Black History Month. And so it's only befitting that we end the show with this fabulous author, Carol Boston Weatherford, author of Unspeakable. The Tulsa Race Massacre has over 50 books, including 3 Caldecott Honor winners, Freedom in Congo Square, Voice of Freedom, Fannie Lou Hamer, and Moses, When Harriet Tubman Led Her People to Freedom. Her recent releases include Unspeakable, The Tulsa Race Massacre. And so 2 of her books won the American Library Association Newbery Honor, and her Aretha book won a Coretta Scott King Award. Good afternoon, Miss Boston Weatherford. How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me on your show. I'm really excited about the release of Unspeakable and the upcoming Philadelphia African American Children's Book Fair, where I'll be appearing with 35 other authors.
Yeah, so they're having the book fair this year. They had to shut it down because of COVID last year. It's nice to know that they're having it this year. That's been a long-standing African American Authors Book Fair. My children went to that book fair for years, and they're now almost 30 years old. So it's been around for a long time.
It's a perfect place to launch Unspeakable, the Tulsa Race Massacre, because the audience is so receptive to African American history, and also, of course, to books by and about African Americans.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited about that.
Yes, I'm going to take a quick break so that when I come back, you and I can continue speaking without being interrupted. But when you come back, I'd like you to tell me about this book, The Tulsa Race Massacre, and then we'll work from there. Can you hold on for a second for me, please?
I will.
All right, hold on. Let me just go over here. I'm telling you, it is one of those days, but I am loving the guests that we have on. So let's just go ahead and make it do what it does, right? Hold on, Michael. Trying to do it. Have you signed up for your Forward membership yet? Join the Forward family today for access to special events, exclusive digital content, Word swag, VIP invitations, discounts, and or printed newsletter, WordPress. Word values your support. We dedicate ourselves to providing the best news coverage for our listeners every step of the way. Please visit wordradio.com/forward. That's wordradio.com/FORWURD for more details. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Happy New Year, Philly. It's Solomon Jones. The pandemic of 2020 blew the roof off of life as we know it and forced us to make radical decisions once thought impossible. Many parents and grandparents turned to the option of a public cyber education. In thousands of instances, they sought assistance from the one true pioneer and industry leader in public cyber education, Commonwealth Charter Academy. Visit ccaeducate.me and exercise your right to choose a safe, hassle-free, student-focused learning environment your kids deserve. CCA delivers elite online instruction streamed directly to the safety and comfort of your living room. They provide a laptop and headset along with internet connectivity that includes financial assistance, all at no cost to families. CCA has been the gold standard in school choice for nearly 20 years. Visit ccaeducate.me and ring in 2021 with a 5-star learning experience. Again, that's ccaeducate.me.
WURD Radio is independent black media. And we're able to stay independent because of our Forward movement and members like you.
Treat yourself to the treat of buying a WURD membership. It's less than a quarter a day. That's less than a bag of chips. And we really, truly need to keep this platform going so that we can stay connected as we reimagine our community in 2021.
Start or renew your Forward membership today at wordradio.com/forward or call 215-425-7875. WURD Radio. Independent Black Media.
Hi, this is John.
Hi, this is Juanita, owners of JD's Auto Body and Painting. We're located at 6300 Wayne Avenue, right there at the intersection of Wayne and Washington Lane.
We really like to thank all you WURD listeners for the support that you've given our business, and we really hope to see you in the future.
JD, tell them about our products and services we have.
We have a new state-of-the-art paint shop along with our body shop and detail shop. We can help you with the dents and scratches from the winter season.
Come to JD's Auto Body and Painting. Come on out and check us out. We're still honoring that WURD 10% discount. Give us a call, 215-848-5949. Again, 215-848-5949.
Thanks again for supporting our business. We really appreciate you.
See you at JD's Auto Body and Painting.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, I have on the line Carol Boston Weatherford, author of Unspeakable, The Tulsa Race Massacre. Miss Boston Weatherford, thank you for being patient with us here as we continue with our conversation. Tell us a little bit about this book, the impetus for writing it, and what platform is it written in? Is it written for children? Is it written for adults? Let us know about that, please.
Unspeakable, The Tulsa Race Massacre is a children's book written by me and illustrated by Floyd Cooper. It's for children ages 8 to 12, but it could be used with older children as well. It chronicles not only the massacre of Black Wall Street in 1921, this year being the 100th anniversary of that event, but it also spends a lot of the book recreating what African Americans had built in Tulsa, Oklahoma's Greenwood community at that time. It was the wealthiest Black community in the whole country. That's what was known as Black Wall Street. 10,000 people lived in a 35 square block area. And of course, you know, it was segregated because it was during the Jim Crow era. But the community was really thriving by 1921 when the massacre took place. There were dozens of restaurants and grocery stores. There were 200 Black businesses in all, 2 Black newspapers, 20 churches, 15 Black doctors, and even a movie theater that was owned by African Americans. Tells you, you know, how prosperous that community was at the time this incident happened.
Wow.
So, yeah, so, you know, so what happened was a girl, an elevator operator, a white elevator operator who was a teenager, had an encounter with a Black man who was also a teenager. And as often happened during the Jim Crow era, she accused him of something. It got blown up. The newspaper published a story that said, "Nab the Negro," and the white community, a white mob developed and attacked, went to the jail. They wanted to lynch the man, who was eventually, he was let go later that evening. But violence broke out. The Black community was trying to protect him. Black World War I veterans were trying to protect this man, and skirmishes broke out between the Blacks and whites. A few people died, and within hours, you know, a full-blown massacre began. Whites attacked, a rumor spread that Blacks were attacking whites, and whites actually attacked the Black community of Greenwood. And the Black people tried to defend themselves, but they were really outnumbered and outgunned, and 8,000 people were essentially left homeless as a result of the massacre. The public officials, the local white officials, swept the whole thing, tried to sweep the whole thing under the rug, wanted to forget about it, and they nearly succeeded for 75 years. And it was not until the 21st century that Oklahoma began teaching about the race massacre in schools. So it's, you know, it's one of those events, it's a place in Black history that vanished due to hate violence. And it's something that, you know, we almost forgot, to put it that way.
Yes.
You know,
and Miss Boston,
pop culture kind of helped revive it.
Yes.
With Watchmen and Lovecraft Country on, you know, on cable TV. But Unspeakable brings the story in a form that families and teachers can share it with children. And children can be aware of the past and connect it to what's going on today.
Absolutely. So my question then becomes, because I'm listening to you talk, and it seems like it's a book that every family should have in their library, right? Considering the fact that school districts are still not giving us the kind of history that we need to learn about in our school books, in our history books. Where can they find the book? Where can they find the book, and what is the cost of it?
They can find the book at any online bookseller. They can find it at black bookstores. The book sells for $17.99. Of course, some places give you discounts. It is illustrated by Floyd Cooper, and it's our second book together. And I have more than 50 books, which you said in the introduction, and most of them do deal with historical topics for the very reason that you said. We can't rely on school systems to teach our children about our history, because either it's going to be missing or it's going to be twisted. So we have to give it to themselves. We have to tell our own stories, and black parents have to take the initiative to seek out these books written by and about black people and share these books with children.
You are the best person to end this show with, the best person, because we're talking about Black History Month. Now, let me ask you this. You have written over 50 books, right, around Black history. I see Freedom in the Congo Square, Fannie Lou Hamer and Moses. I see The Queen of Soul, The Roots of Rap, 16 Bars on the 4 Pillars of Hip Hop. Come on, you are at it. You're a native of Baltimore, and you teach at the Fayetteville State University in North Carolina.
Which is an HBCU, by the way.
An HBCU.
Yes. Yes, I
ma'am.
teach there, and I practice what I preach, because I teach students who want to become teachers, and I make sure that they are aware of African American books that they can then share in their classrooms. Not my own books, because I can't teach my own books. It's unethical. But I do teach other black books that are written about black children and about black history.
All right. Tell us one more time how they can find the books, please.
They can find the book online at the African American Literary Book Club, at sites like Amazon, and at independent booksellers in the community, particularly African American bookstores.
Thank you so much. And all your other books are for sale too? They're all still being printed?
Not all of them, but I'd say 80% of them, about 40.
80% of them. I'm asking you that because I'm thinking of educators who are moaning and groaning in schools right now, especially for Black History Month. Can you imagine the plethora of information, the wealth of information that you have, and the different audiences that you can reach with these books? So I'm going to recommend your books to these different educators to see if they can at least get a few of them, or to get their school districts to buy the whole series. And keep them in their library and use them across classroom platforms, especially now at Black History Month, but really, truly, 365 days a year. Thank you so much, Miss Carol Boston Weatherford. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Likewise.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye. That was a good interview. It's been, if you can hear the sound as we're talking, the entire show, you hear that we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here. But again, weather, ice and wires don't mix well. And so we're doing the best that we can with what we have. And Michael, let me just say thank you, truly. Brother Spread Love said it, for getting in your truck and getting to the studio so that we can actually air the show today. And tomorrow it's going to be the same thing. So I appreciate you. Take care and be safe. This just in, Stacey Abrams was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Again, this just in, Stacey Abrams, the woman who turned Georgia on its ear, Black excellence, par none, was just nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. I'm telling you this because this is my last statement for today. You can be a leader with integrity. You can be a leader that works across the lines with other people. You can be a leader who does not have to compromise yourself. Ask me how I know. You can be a leader that walks with humility, a leader who listens to what other people are doing, making sure you're hearing people from across the board, a leader that is powerful with their voice and what they have to say, but with very little ego, so that you can get the most for the masses. Stacey Abrams is Black history unparalleled. When she lost her election, when her election was stolen from her, she didn't go suck salt and go off into a corner and make the news for crazy things. She went on and started mobilizing people. I have said this time again on this show. What are you going to do? What are the solutions? She found the solution. She began working at the grassroots level. What's going on at your church? She used churches, libraries, schools. She, community leaders that nobody was talking to. And she said to them, how can we get you all to come out to vote? What do we need to do? And she began a process. She had a whole process lined up. That is Black excellence. That's Black leadership par excellence. It wasn't a bunch of, let me scratch your hands and you scratch mine over here. That is how she ended up being nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. So while she lost the governorship, she literally gained respect by stepping up in the gap and continuing to help her people, and can raise millions of dollars in minutes. Millions, right? Because she's created with her integrity. So many people believe in her, Black and white, that she literally got out rural Georgia, urban Georgia, all sorts of folks, and now everybody's looking at her for the blueprint. What is your blueprint going to be? How are you going to win what is the equivalent of the Nobel Peace Prize for your community, other than talking the yin-yang and fattening your pockets and wearing shiny shoes and being misogynistic to the women that are around you? Because, yes, I am hearing all of it. We have got to do better in this city. We've just got to do better. So when you look at Stacey Abrams and what she has done, when you look at her and see that she was now nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, and juxtapose that with the decisions that you're making when you call yourself a leader, young, old, or indifferent, you might want to take another look, right? It's Black History Month. We have 27 more days left after today. Every day I'm going to give you some Black history facts, but how are you going to be Black history? Just in the spaces where you're sitting right now, how are you going to make a difference for the people that you're serving beyond yourself? How are you going to stand up and be courageous when everybody else is running into the other direction? What are you going to do? Because we can only move at the speed of trust. And we can only move when people can't trust you. When they see you doing one thing over here and doing something else on the other side, folks will not trust you. And this is why our city is in the dire straits that it is in today. What are you going to do? Coming up next is Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.